What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, coming to you live on Saturday Night Live. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Seeing people pour in the chat right now. That is awesome to see. And things are just picking up. Got a great show lined up for you guys. Great show lined up for you guys. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Definitely a lot of familiar faces in the chat. A few new ones as well. Good to see on both accounts. Who do we got in here? We've got the Chill Auricular Theater, of course. We got Alan Schneider. We got Mr. Zero Fox. Celeste, of course. Futuristic Angel. NPC Holder. The Beef Supreme. And we've got Ariel. Ariel, welcome. Isaac Castile. We got RW. We got Hamada. We've got Dave Carter, of course. And the list goes on. Terry Reed, Nurse Terry Reed, welcome back. Slay Blaze, of course. Duke City Specialist, hello. We the Doge, hello. Who else do we got in here? Rock Lobster starting things off strong with a nice super chat of $4.99. Says, people have the power with Doge. People have the power with Doge. I love it. Guys, if you haven't yet, smash that like button like you'd smash your childhood celebrity crush. It takes a split second of your time. It doesn't cost you a dime. It's the number one thing you can do to help a new emerging channel like this get up on those tricky YouTube algorithms, get out to more people, etc., etc. And so also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you. My name is Steven Steele. Welcome to Steven Steele Live. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell on all. Join us. Join our ranks. We are the Crypto Vampires here on YouTube, and we'd love to have you along with us for the journey as we all simultaneously ascend to the moon and beyond. And also, guys, memberships are now available as of last week. As we're seeing in the chat. So you just hit the join button, obviously, right underneath the video there. And we'd love to have you sync up with us in that vision as well. Loving all the Steven Steele emojis coming through in the chat. Trucking All Day is in here too. Damien, Purple Doge Mama. Awesome, guys. Great to see you guys. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. If you're on Twitter, if you wouldn't mind just going to my Twitter page and retweeting, RTing the stream out, that is appreciated. That does help get the word out to more of your fellow community members and people that are interested in this show. So if you could do that, that would be awesome, guys. I'm going to put a link to that tweet to RT it in the chat right now. I would appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much for that. So tonight I've got one guest for sure, two maybe. We're having some technical difficulties with PikaDoge. I know Coco is here with us. Coco, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We have a lot of good news that was about Doge today. We are on UFC on the floor of the mat where they're fighting today. We have some positive Tesla news, so I feel like we have kind of a lot to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a bit of that as well. So some definite developments. And I don't know if we got PikaDoge. Are you with us, PikaDoge? Not quite yet. We can't get a signal from PikaDoge. We don't know what's going on. Done everything on my end to try to get PikaDoge through here. So maybe we are hoping that PikaDoge can get their technical difficulties sorted. PikaDoge, I did see you mute and unmute yourself, so I know at least that's working. So hopefully we can get a signal from PikaDoge. So we're gonna continue to work on it, and if PikaDoge comes through, we will hear PikaDoge speak. So we'll just play it by ear, guys. But we do, yes. I'm already seeing hashtag Coco Snorts is in the building. Yes, guys.
I see it. I knew it was coming tonight.
Yeah. So how's that coming on your own cereal line on Coco Snorts?
I kid you not. I actually sat a few days ago and started sketching out how I want the cereal box to look. And I'm already deciding it's gonna be chocolate cereal with pink pig snort snout marshmallows. It's gonna have no nutritional value, packed with tons of sugar and GMOs, so nobody will want to actually eat it, but they'll at least enjoy the box, and it'll probably be worth money someday. So it's a collector's item.
Maybe that could be the slogan for your cereal: Coco Snorts, enjoy the box.
Enjoy the box, not the cereal.
There it is.
Hey, Pika, can you hear us? I see you unmuted. Can you hear us? Pika, Pika?
Pika, Pika. Oh, man. Yeah, so Pika, Pika. Just keep trying. Hopefully we can get a signal emitted through. We did in soundcheck I heard Pika come through once, so hopefully we can do it again. Dave Carter coming in, super chat, $5 super chat. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. It says, I'm glad that we have this space where we can be a family. Things have been crazy on Twitter. Much love to you and our Doge fam. Snort, snort. Yes, indeed. And that's in part what we're here for. Absolutely gonna bring the positive vibes, gonna bring the Doge momentum, gonna bring the big Doge energy, and that we are seeing in the chat tonight, all night long, guys. And your man, real deal, Steven Steele with Coco Chanel Adair, and possibly PikaDoge. So there's so much to talk about. Firstly, with this UFC fight, what have you learned about this? There was a Doge rep in the ring, right? In the octagon? Coco?
Yeah, so it was on the floor. So I actually don't even know who was fighting, nothing.
Yeah.
I just saw the post. Yeah. And it was showing the Dogecoin logo for, I guess it's a gambling company that accepts Doge. I have to go back and look and see what the name of it was, but I was like, okay, that's really cool. That these little things, they might not seem like a lot, but every time we get on TV, every time we get to have that kind of advertisement, it is fantastic for Doge. And especially being on something that people are paying money for and streaming all around the world, that's a really big deal. So I think that was a huge win for Doge today.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw it too, and it was actually one of the things that was a Dogecoin on the UFC mat at UFC 263, and it says "to the moon" on it. And so this was a pretty cool sight to behold, to have basically a Dogecoin on the physical. Really large on the physical mat of a UFC fight. It was just really cool, really wild to see. And this was televised all throughout cable stations. So a lot of eyes on the Doge in the octagon. We got a super chat coming in from Isaac Castile for $5. Isaac, thank you, my man. Says Dave Carter agreed. Doge family is growing. Dealing super chats. We are growing here. We are growing. This community is growing. This show is growing. Our sphere of influence is growing each and every day, and I'm seeing it on the metrics with this show, folks. I see the numbers, and we are doing it. We're reaching more people each and every day. The Doge momentum is with us. Absolutely, 100%. Rock Lobster says Daft Kings was the Doge deal. Yes, Daft Kings. Thank you for that. Daft Kings is what brokered that deal. And Doge, it's trading sideways, and I've said this to you guys many times, and you guys are no stranger to this news. I said, just be prepared. Doge is going to trade sideways for quite a while. I said this about 2 weeks ago, anywhere between 29 cents and 36 cents. That's exactly what it's done. I think it's going to continue to do that for a bit while longer, and this is totally in coordinates with behaviors that we've seen from Dogecoin in the past. And like my man Upshot says, when in doubt, zoom out. Zoom out. When you zoom out, you can really see how far we've come and how decently we are positioned. We are a little bit more down tonight than usual, but that's also because the rest of the market is down, gang. The rest of the market. So when you think that something is going on, maybe specific to Dogecoin in terms of market value being down, it's 9 times out of 10, it's because the rest of the market is echoing and experiencing the same thing, guys, the same thing. So I do think that there's lots of reasons to be optimistic about Dogecoin. Listen, guys, we've got this Dogecoin pairing coming through with Ethereum. We've had confirmation on both sides that this is something that's been in talks right now. It's at the beginning stages. Ross Nickel, a brilliant man, and one of the primary Dogecoin developers since 2013, confirmed this on his Twitch stream just a few nights ago with Billy on there, and said that the Ethereum development team had reached out to him recently for this very reason. Guys, this, I think, could be the most game-changing, epic thing to happen in the entire cryptocurrency market. When I talk about the beginning of the end to Bitcoin dominance, I think this could be it. The eventual pairing between Ethereum and Dogecoin absolutely has epic potential. What do you think? What do you think, Coco?
I think it's beautiful. I mean, honestly, I know that, everybody, whenever it comes to, especially, pairing with any other cryptocurrency, sometimes people get worried about this. But truthfully, this is a match made in heaven. This is something that truthfully will be so beneficial to Doge because, people have to remember, they have people like Jack Dorsey who are going against Dogecoin, trying to really kind of pump up Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And so having, Ethereum and having, Elon and Ether together, I mean, that's a big deal. Doge and Ether together is a huge deal. I think it's going to make us bigger. It's going to make us stronger. It's what we really needed. We have been trading sideways for a while, and sometimes, that can make emotions run high. It can make people frustrated because they feel like, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And see, sometimes truthfully, when it goes up and it goes down, that sometimes can be more stressful, than going sideways. But then for some of us, going sideways is way more stressful. Because you say, how long is it going to be this way? But the truth is that, with all cryptocurrency, that's why I always encourage people to do 2 things. Look at all the other cryptos and see how they're doing compared to Dogecoin. Because usually a lot of them are trading in pretty similar patterns. Not always. Right. But lately, definitely trading in a lot of similar patterns. And then I always tell, especially new investors, the best thing you can do is, when in doubt, zoom out. Look at the last 3 months. Look at the last 6 months. Look at the last year. Look at the last 5 years. And when you start to really look at the charts, you see, oh, you know what? Crypto in general is just very volatile, but Doge just came a very long way from where, it was even 6 months ago, right? So to me, this is like a huge success. I was waiting since 2016 to see even 1 cent. So to me, the fact that we're even here, just even around 29, 30 cents is still fantastic. So for me, it's, as I said, this has always been a long-term thing for me. I knew that this was, most likely not going to be an overnight thing. Great things take time, and that's exactly what's happening with Doge. Is great things take time. People have to understand, we have Elon, now we have Ethereum, we have all this great stuff happening. Doge isn't going anywhere. And so that's just, as long as people keep that in mind, and that it really is not going to go anywhere, then we're on the right track.
Yeah, really well stated. Really well stated. Isaac Steele coming through with a $2 super chat. Doge to the Fortune 500. Yeah, guys. As far as Doge to the Fortune 500, to me, this is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the bottom line, despite what you may hear out there, the bottom line, what the folks at the Fortune 500 look at, they are looking at the market value. They're looking at the market value. They could care less about the politics or perhaps some internal conflicts or marketing issues around our cryptocurrency. What they're going to look is the market value, the market cap. That's it, folks. That's it. That's what they look at. And this show is just shy of 2 months old now. And I remember when I first started streaming live here with the Doge chart, it was right about 6 cents. It was right about 6 cents when I first started the show less than 2 months ago, gang. And now we are hovering at a floor of about 30 cents. Pretty incredible. And Josh Rendell disavows. Josh, I love that name. Josh Rendell disavows. Coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Josh. Steven Steele, so glad you went on Upshot so I could discover your channel. It's been a wild ride since January. And welcome over from Upshot's channel. I love hearing that sort of thing. I love hearing the cross-pollination we have going on in the Dogecoin community. It makes us stronger, makes things more interesting. I love that you came over from Upshot's channel. Upshot's become a good friend of mine. The original Doge father, Upshot, and what a great guy. I mean, what a fantastic guy. So thank you for that super chat, Josh, and welcome to Steven Steele Live. I also love it when you Moonbats come over from Crypto Batman Show. We love the Moonbats here on Steven Steele Live. And then we got some cross-pollination from Final Stand and et cetera, and it goes on. So today, Coco, the Oakland A's just made MLB history by accepting Dogecoin payments officially for tickets to games. So people have started. There were a few sales today in Dogecoin for people to actually buy tickets to games. So this is great. This is the beginning of what I see as an inevitable outcome of cryptocurrency being accepted, Dogecoin specifically being accepted throughout the MLB. I think this is only going to tumble. There's to more and more teams now. There's a second team now. I think it's a Houston team, and now we're also seeing with the NBA, right? Obviously, who's involved? Who's one of the biggest swinging you-know-whats in the NBA? It's Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban has formed a crypto council on the NBA between him and four other well-moneyed gentlemen involved in the NBA, just for this purpose of getting the rest of the NBA on track to accept cryptocurrency. And what is going to be the priority? Who do you think is going to be the priority? It's going to be Dogecoin, because we've already seen proof of concept where, Mark Cuban had the option for people to check out with Bitcoin for a long time before he added Dogecoin. But what happened? Not a lot happened until he added Dogecoin. And then he actually saw people actually buying things, actually making purchases with Dogecoin. So where do you think, Coco, the priority is going to be with this NBA Crypto Council? Well, they're going to be talking a lot about Dogecoin, because Mark Cuban's going to be in there saying, well, hey, guys, this is the digital currency that people are actually using. What do you think, Coco?
Well, first off, I'm so beyond thrilled that it was the Oakland A's, because I'm from the Bay Area. So to me, that was like, yes. I love the Bay, because I feel like, we're already Silicon Valley. We're usually the first, in tech spaces and things like that. And so to have, Dogecoin for the Oakland A's was truly like, it just meant the world to me, because it was like, I love the Bay Area. And so to have us be the first MLB team was so fantastic. I was so happy, and I feel like this is just opening doors to so many other things. Mark Cuban laid out the groundwork. He stepped out there on the limb and accept Dogecoin to say, hey, let's see what happens with this. And because of that, he showed the wild success of it. He said many times, I had, Bitcoin, I had Ether, and nobody was spending them because, people have to look at those as, Bitcoin is like crypto gold. Ether is like, crypto silver and Litecoin and things like that, where Dogecoin is at a comfortable price. So people are okay with, hey, well, you know what? I'm just going to take my fiat money, I'm going to put it into crypto, and I'm going to use my Doge, because there isn't a difference. You're using your ATM card every day. Why not put it into crypto, something that might gain even more value, and go buy a few things? You're not going to want to spend your Bitcoin on a cup of coffee. You're not going to want to buy a t-shirt with it. You want to use something that that if it goes up a few cents and, a few weeks, you're not going to be upset by it. This is why I like Dogecoin, because I feel that, I know people want it to skyrocket, but one thing people have to keep in mind is only 1% of the world even has cryptocurrency. We're a brand, it'd be like as if the stock market had only been open for 20 years. That's kind of what we are in with crypto. So it's a very new space. And Dogecoin, while I know people are very anxious, investing in general, and especially in the cryptocurrency market, it requires a lot of patience. We still have a long way to go to being accepted by places, but the fact that we are having so many big people's attention, like Snickers and Slim Jim, Axe, all these places, these mainstream companies that are they're seeing how successful we're coming. They like our community. And those are the things that I think are just amazing, because it's just opening so many doors. And so I feel like, Oakland A's accepting this is just one more huge door for us. And I think we're going to start seeing us on, the Giants. And then we're just going to start moving all throughout all the other MLB companies. We're going to start seeing it NFL companies. I think, honestly, within the next year and a half, we're going to see it, accepted at most major, sport retailers. We're going to be able to buy tickets, buy gear, hopefully be able to go to the hot dog stand, buy a hot dog, whatever the case may be. And so that's why I tell people, continue to tweet, continue to use your voice, because the more that you talk about it, you demand it, they see it. They cannot deny, what their customers want. So if you're demanding it and you're really taking a point to just keep talking about it, they will accept it, but I tell everybody that this is a waiting game. This is something you have to be patient with. If you're looking for an overnight success, this is probably not going to be it. I mean, it kind of has been an overnight success in a weird way, but the truth is that great things take time. Elon, and now that we're going to be paired with Ether, we have a lot of great things coming up, but it's going to take time. So this is, a hard kind of point for people, but just keep following the news, keep listening to all the great things that are coming, because every day we're being seen, we're being accepted by a new place, so it is coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well stated. Rock Lobster coming in with a $4 super chat. Thank you for that. He said, sorry, it was steak.com on the UFC, Matt, not Daft Kings. Daft Punk, Daft Kings. Thank you for the clarification, Rock Lobster. It's quite all right. Melissa Mimosa coming through with a generous $20 super chat. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that so much, and nice to hear from you. Says, just wanted to say, love you both. Love you back, Melissa, and thank you for not only joining us, but your support of the show that way. Thank you so much. Melissa also says, also the San Jose Sharks are accepting Doge. I did hear that, and thank you for the reminder. So we are seeing it cross over now. We're seeing it cross over the San Jose Sharks into hockey. So, I think it's only going to be an inevitable matter of time, like Coco was saying, before Dogecoin is going to be accepted throughout the entire MLB, throughout the entire NBA, throughout the entire NHL, guys. This is going to go absolutely wild throughout all of professional sports, and the NFL as well, I believe, is going to get there too. And so there's a lot to be excited by. There's a lot to be excited by because I've noticed in the past, Coco, where When we traded, it lasted, I think, a little over 2 months, not too long ago, where Dogecoin was trading back and forth between about 4.5 cents and 6 cents. And that lasted for a little over 2 months. And I remember during that 2 months, particularly around that 6-week mark, there's a pretty good amount of people that were just starting to kind of lose hope. They're starting to kind of, some people are getting a little bit, some people are getting a little bit testy. Some people are getting a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Antsy, bothered, irritated. And this was translating into a number of ways. People started maybe arguing more on the internet, for example, or, selling their Doge and, reallocating that investment and their efforts to another coin or another token, right? So we're seeing these kind of things. And I can't help but notice history somewhat repeating itself now, now that we've been trading sideways for a bit, where we have lately. So I can't help but notice some parallels now. And I guess I bring that up for obvious reasons. Sometimes it's good to take a deep breath. Sometimes maybe you need even a break from crypto. Sometimes you need a break from following Doge. Sometimes that's good too. And that's another reason why I have a show like this one, because it's more of a talk show format, more of a relaxed talk show format, where we don't even specifically always talk about crypto or Dogecoin. That particularly comes in handy in terms of keeping the community together, keeping the community in good spirits, while we have entertain a variety of topics, So these things that are this great don't happen overnight, and they rarely ever have. And you almost don't want them to happen too quickly, because usually when that happens, there's a opposite reaction to that that can be pretty severe. So I think things overall are growing at a pretty decent, exceptional pace, particularly when you're looking at the rest of the market, guys. Wouldn't you agree, Coco?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'd be lying if I said that I haven't had my antsy ways too, where it's like, man, but the truth is that, you have to, that's why due diligence is important, and you keep doing due diligence because things change. And so it's important to stay up to date on your data, on your information. But, at the long run, I feel like there's, two types of people. There's people that have the patience for crypto, and there's the people that don't. That's the difference between diamond hands and paper hands. And there's nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with selling. But at the same time, you have to figure out, okay, am I going to sell? And then what happens if this goes up? Am I taking a huge loss at what I bought in at? Am I going to be able to come back in at a price that I'm comfortable with? Because, for instance, if I would have sold, my Doge a few years ago, I would have had a huge loss, and especially now if I lose, massively. Because, I bought in 2016 at 0.0003 cents, so not even a full cent. And so people have to understand that everyone has to have their own exit strategy or however they want to do it. But see, there's two different types of people. There's people who are looking at this as an investment opportunity and they have a price in mind, they're going to leave it. And then there's people who said, no, I'm holding this because I'm holding a currency. I'm going to wait until all the places I want to accept Doge accept it, and then I can actually use it, because that's how I personally am looking. When I first entered it, I didn't know how it was going to do. So yeah, I was looking at it as an investment, opportunity. But now I really do see it as, a currency. I want to use it to go buy my next car. I want to use it to, go shopping. I want to use it to go buy groceries. I want to use it all those places. And that's where I think it's so important that, every day we're tweeting at companies, we're tweeting at places, but I do think I have a friend who she is she's one of those people that she gets nervous, when something goes down, and so she'll always end up selling at a loss. And I tell her, you're going to keep losing money that way unless you really learn when to hold and when to buy and when to sell. Learning when to get an entry point sometimes can be hard because nobody can really predict what the market does. But yeah, when you see these dips, take advantage of them. If you see people saying, "Hey, that's a huge dip right now," and you believe that is going to go back up, then you go ahead and buy that dip. But just like with everything else, we always say, we're not financial advisors. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Don't be so emotionally invested in this that if it goes down a little bit, it affects you so deeply. We have to understand that, we say it over and over, and sometimes I think people don't absorb the message that crypto is way more volatile than stocks. And so if you do crypto, you really have to you be comfortable with the amount that you have in there. Because, crypto it's crazy. It's a wild ride. Since 2016, I felt like I have been in a constant roller coaster. There's been times where it's been, just like how it is lately. It's kind of just going sideways, not really that exciting. But honestly, that this is just life. Just how you don't have constant good things going on in life. Sometimes you got good things going on. Sometimes you got bad things. This is the same thing with stocks and crypto. It's up, it's down, but you're still going. And so that's how I see it as, and I really encourage people, you figure out what you want to do, what's best for you. But in the long run, if you really believe in Doge and you believe in the mission and you believe in the community and, how the currency is going to be used, then I say hold it. Have those diamond hands and hold it. We're going to have some rough waters, but that's just cryptocurrency in general. When in doubt, zoom out and look at other cryptos. We're not alone. There's other communities that are like, man, this sucks. We are down. And it's okay. That's why I say we have to not focus on the charts, not focus on the negativity. We just have to focus on truthfully what is positive. And that's why I always tell people, in between these times of the price being down, focus on the community, focus on companies that we can get to accept Doge, focus on charities. There's so much more to Doge than the price. And so I think once people can see that, they're not going to worry about these sideways charts or, these dips. They're going to really just say, you know what, I'm in this because I believe in Doge. And then they won't worry so much about the price.
Yeah, right on. Guys, if you have any questions for either Coco, Chanel, Adair, or myself, feel free to put them in the chat or super chat. You're listening to your man, Steele, and we are live Saturday night here with my special guest, Coco Chanel, and possibly PikaDoge, depending if PikaDoge can get their audio situation sorted. So that is still remains to be seen, but either way, we will definitely be having PikaDoge back soon. So before we discussed Ants in the Pants, there used to be a kids game called Ants in the Pants. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I don't think I ever played it a lot, but I do remember it. I especially remember the commercials.
Yeah, me too. What were a couple of your favorite games growing up as a kiddo?
Okay, so it's so funny. I was earlier in Sincere's room, we actually were having a Doge of Duty. We were having like a Call of Duty group chat where we were playing Call of Duty together, but we were still on the group chat, and it was so much fun. And we started talking about old games, and I was telling them that I really miss my original Nintendo system. I loved playing Duck Hunt. I loved playing Mario. All of those ones were like my absolute favorite. So I have been really anxious to kind of get playing that again. But board games, I would probably say, Monopoly, Scrabble, Twister, those ones were just like classics. Uno, things like that. But I mean, truthfully, I loved my video games. I was such a big gamer as a kid. So I loved Sega, Sonic. Even now, it's funny, I taught my niece how to play Sonic, and she is probably better at it than I am, and she's only like 5 years old. But she is so phenomenal. And that's what I love is that, some of the the kids nowadays, it's like they are really into the older stuff. They're into the stuff that we were into when we were kids. So I mean, I love all the 80s, 90s, early 2000s stuff. I love it all.
Yeah, me too. So you were a gamer. You're kind of a gamer nerd growing up, yeah?
Oh yeah, and you know what? I'll be honest. Like, gaming was so much a part of my life because I grew up with like I didn't have any brothers or sisters, but I had like 3 or 4 guy friends that were like my big brothers, and they protected me at school and stuff like that. And the thing we always used to do was go and play video games after school, and so it really was a big part of my growing up and my friendships with my friends, and I just loved it. Even now it's fun because we all live in different parts of the world, but we'll get together on Xbox and we'll play some Call of Duty or whatever we kind of feel like. I haven't. I'll be honest. I don't play as many new games as I used to. I remember back in the day going to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video and getting like a new game, like 2 new games every week to play. And now I'll play Call of Duty and a few others for like, I don't know, 2 months. And then I'm like, I need to take a break from video games. And so I'll take a break for like 2 months and then pick it up again.
Yeah. Did you know that there's actually a game that was developed in 2019 called Call of Booty?
No.
Yeah, it was called. It's called Call of Booty. Yeah, it's called Call of Booty, and it's like a retro style 2D platform game in which you play a health and safety inspector who must evade hordes of horny women. And this was a real game. It was a PC game. Definitely, not one that was like officially released, but it's out there. But you must evade hordes of pretty, ramped up women who want to have their way. It's very fast paced, from what I understand. I have yet to play Call of Booty, but this was released.
Wait! I need to know what platforms are. Is it on Xbox? PS? What?
It's a PC. It's just like a game you play on a PC. Yeah, there wasn't like an official Xbox release of Call of Booty. This is something that was just kind of a rogue creation for people to download online. But there was a developer. The developer, I just looked up, his name is Julian Henley, was the programmer for Call of Booty. And he is also behind other gems such as Red Mist, Rivers of Blood, which sounds like a pretty normal like fighting game. Freedom Do or Die, same thing. But then he's also responsible for Someone Cloned the President, which was also a game released in 2019, and Dickie A. Cummings, which is to be announced. So it seems like he's up to some really esteemed projects in the future for Julian Henley, independent gaming programmer. But I just like the sound. I mean, aside from it being a PC game, I just like the sound of Call of Booty. Whether I don't. It almost doesn't even matter what it is. It's just it makes a good T-shirt.
No, do you know, honestly, one of the other ones, too, that I was thinking of is I miss playing Tomb Raider on PC. I feel like that was the only way I enjoyed playing it was on PC. Like, Tomb Raider on PC, there was, like, nothing like it back in the day. That was probably one of my favorite ones to play on the computer.
I do remember that one. Yeah, Tomb Raider was all the rage. Sammy says, haha, I want to get me some Call of Booty. And then... Hector says, I love it when the women catch you, of course. And then once they catch you, the game's just getting started. Okay, guys. I get it. I love it. Call of Booty. It's all these like ridiculous puns. I remember watching Harry Potter movie years ago at my place with a young lady I was seeing at the time, and she randomly said to me as we were watching this film, she said, "You know what? I bet there's a movie called Harry with TWATTER." And I started to laugh, and I said, "You think so?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "You're probably right." And, then we did a Google search for it right there. And lo and behold, there's a whole series. There's a whole series of that name. And one of them will, I'm not even going to go into the details. But if you think that it's probably been made, it's probably been made, folks.
Probably been made, yeah.
Yes. If you think it might have been made, it's probably been made. There's probably some freak out there who's already been on it. But these are definitely amusing observations. Heather G in the chat. Welcome, Heather G. Heather, honestly, good to see you. Good to see you. Been a minute for sure. We got to get Heather G back on the show. She's awesome. And too bad PikaDoge didn't work out tonight, but I am in talks with PikaDoge. I need a translator to understand what PikaDoge is saying, but I was on the phone with PikaDoge using my translator, and Pika was saying that we are going to reschedule a time in the very, very near future, within a week. So we will have PikaDoge back, guys. Do not fret. Do not worry there. Lady Doge in the house. Good to see you, Lady Doge. Etc. Good to see some folks I haven't seen in the chat in a bit. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button, if you could just take a moment to do that. It takes a split second of your time. Doesn't cost you a dime. It really does help the channel out. And of course, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you and encourage you to join and subscribe. Hit that notification bell on all, and then also, if you've already subscribed, hit that notification bell on all. That takes all the guesswork out of this stuff. And we also have memberships as of last week, so you can hit the join button on the memberships. There's 3 different tier options there, and that's something I've been working really hard on, creating exclusive member content as well. Tonight's guest is the lovely Coco Chanel Adair, coming to us live from the Bay, from San Fran. How's it going over in San Fran, Coco?
You know what? It's better. I feel like that there is still, I can't wait. And I guess like the 16th is kind of when everything like is legit really open again. So I'm really excited to kind of have a little bit more normalcy. I know it's slowly going there, but it's just been really slow. I'm like, I can't wait to just go be on like a boat, like a party boat with some friends or something. Like just I have been so lame the last 2 years anyway, so I can't wait to like go and have just a full-blown party. And even with like Doge Palooza, I can't wait for that like in November, October. So I plan on partying really, really hard when the world is like fully back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just ready to finally let loose after this totally just extended pandemic that's going on a year and a half now. So, yeah. So how are the restrictions out in SF? Still pretty restricted out there?
Yeah, there's still a lot, and there are certain places where it's like like I know that with like some of the Giants games and things like that, if you're vaccinated, you can you're in one section. If you're not vaccinated, you're in another section. And so I think they're still trying to figure out how to handle that situation. But overall it does seem like it's getting better. Things are getting a little bit more relaxed, but still definitely a ways to go. I tried to me and my fiance tried to go to a hotel. He booked me a really nice suite, and we get there and basically ended up wasting our money and time because like the spa was closed, the room service was closed, the pool was closed, the gym was closed. And it's like, man, I was like, this was a complete waste. And because I was like, I was trying to get away, have a nice like day to myself and just peace, and it just totally backfired. So I'm like, all right, I can't wait till things open up. I can go and just like really enjoy myself. and go out and have some fun. But what are the restrictions like where you're at?
I'd say they're moderate. They're moderate in the city where I'm at. There's definitely cities that are a lot stricter, and there are definitely cities that are a lot less strict. So it's like a moderate level of rules here. I'd say we're kind of right in the middle between the more super strict cities. I mean, we're not super strict like. I think San Fran might. I don't know. I think San Fran might fall on the stricter end of things. But
yeah, because we were pretty bad for a while, so they were really strict with the conditions out here. And then once things kind of the cases started going down, stuff, so we're kind of moderate right now, like you said.
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle here. So you were born and raised in the Bay Area, Coco?
Yep, born and raised, and I've lived all over the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I love the Bay. I'll be honest, like San Francisco is probably my favorite place to live, though.
Mm-hmm.
I love Oakland too, but I think that because like if you live in the Oakland Hills and stuff, it's really nice and it's really peaceful. But then it's like you go into the city, and it is a little more chaotic. I actually like to live on the outskirts of San Francisco. So you're right by the city, but you're not quite in the middle of all the chaos. So I think it's nice to, and what a lot of people forget is there actually is a lot of really beautiful greenery over there. A lot of people think like city life, not a lot of greenery. There's actually a ton of beautiful parks, and you're right by the beach. It's not one of those beaches that you really want to swim in. But it definitely, you have some beautiful weather days, which is really just nice to go and hang out there. Shout out, you guys got Carl's Jr. in the chat.
Yeah, the official Carl's Jr.,
very cool,
who is the brother of Beef Supreme.
Love it.
Yeah.
And shout out to Dan in the room. I saw him in here. He was I have to give Dan props because he was one of the first people that got me to snort. And I had worked so hard to contain it for years. And his Boston accent, him telling me to go park the car, I lost it. And I snorted. But I actually feel better because I found out recently that David G snorts. So I was like, yay, I'm not alone in the Doge community of being a snorter. I feel so much better now.
Yeah. So who's the other snorter aside from you? Is that what you're saying? There's another one?
Yeah, David G, the one that was on your show last time.
David G's a snorter?
He's a snorter, and I'm so mad because I had to go to his space yesterday, and right as I left the space, apparently he snorted like 5 times in a row, and I was so upset that I missed it. I was like, no, like I need to hear him snort, so I just feel a little bit better that I'm not alone in the snort world, and I know that, there's another Doge army out there that's snorting along with me.
This is ridiculous.
But you know what's funny? Have you kept up at all? David G is going to be having a charity boxing match with Crypto Bully from Safe Moon, and it is going to be the showdown of a century. They have both already started training. And if you ever go in their spaces, it's so funny because they will sit and argue back and forth with each other, like funny, like they're cool, but they will funny trash talk each other for like hours. Like they will not stop. Dave calls them chicken legs. Crypto Bully says that he's gonna tear him up, and it's just the battle is it's iconic. It is amazing. I think it's going to be way more entertaining than Floyd and Logan Paul. I think it'll be way more entertaining.
And do you know when this is going to transpire?
Well, David said he wants 1 full year, so we're going to give him 1 full year.
A year?
To train. I know.
Oh my God!
He wants 1 full year. So I said, okay, but you guys have to do it. But if you guys see Crypto Boy, he's a pretty big guy. So David's definitely got to put on some more weight, some more muscle, and then he's got this. I have faith in David. Crypto Bully says he's fighting for my love, but I got to stand behind David on this one. I really think he's going to pull through for everybody.
What do you mean Crypto Bully says he's fighting for his love?
No, for my love. Crypto Boy has a small crush on me, and he has told me he would fight bears for me. Um, and even my fiance said, "Well, as long as he's willing to swim to the deepest ocean for you, then I appreciate him."
Jeez.
My fiance is fully aware of my Doge boyfriends because after I drove him crazy for like, oh my god, from I think from like December to February, he just had a nervous breakdown because I would not shut up about Doge or Elon or Price, and he was like,
Yeah.
I can't take it. I need you to go find like some Doge boyfriend that you can just talk about Doge with all day long. And so I put out this tweet, and so it just became this like running joke for months. And so I have like 3 Doge boyfriends, a Doge husband, some Doge girlfriends, a Doge pool
Wow.
boy, a Doge musician. It kind of turned into a really big joke.
A Doge pool boy, huh? Who was your Doge
Oh
pool
yeah,
boy?
I got some really strange offers, but
I'm sure
the
you
pool
did.
boy one was definitely the most unique one. I've never had a Doge pool boy, especially because I don't have a pool, so it was very interesting.
Yeah. Well, so Crypto Bully is he's still fighting for your love?
Every time I go in a chat, he says, "I'm not here for you, David. I'm here for Coco. I love Coco."
Well, I gotta admit, Crypto Bully has been a bit less than pleasant to me, but it sounds like to me he's maybe a bit more of a crypto simp. So I'll be definitely rooting for David G to knock that dude's lights out 1 year from today. David G, you have my the Steele endorsement for sure. Carl's Jr. coming in says, "Beef Supreme, feel the power of beefs." Above Wall Street is in the house. Welcome back, Above Wall Street. Good to see you. Along with his spouse Heather G. Doge Sir, welcome back, Doge Sir. And they're talking about the beefs. From what I've seen a little bit online,
I've been seeing beef everywhere today, and
yeah,
I feel like beef.
I think
I heard it's brand new, but I am interested because my favorite meal is steak and potatoes. So I'm all about the beef. Let's go beef.
Yeah, let's go beef. I think I don't know if it's like if they actually went through with it or not, but I saw talk from Beef Supreme online that there's a beef's coin. I don't know if it's like real or not. It's called beefs, but whatever.
Listen, I think it's just another silly token. And that's why I always tell people do your due diligence, and stuff, because truthfully, at the end of the day, we have a lot of, because anybody can make a token. That's why, even with my Coco Snort token, that's it's meant to be silly, and so you have to figure out, but see, even silly coins sometimes can turn into something, and so that's why it's like, I've learned to not really trash any shit coins, or excuse me, because honestly, any of them, because, at any point, any of them really could become something if they want to. It's just all about who's behind it and who's pushing it and who wants to, and who really wants to make it into something. So I think, honestly, if I like to give a lot of stuff a chance now. I don't think everything will be successful, but I also think that, sometimes it's okay to just throw $1, a few dollars, $5, whatever, into something and see what happens.
Yeah, like I say, it's all about context. It's all about knowing what you're getting yourself into. Beef Supreme confirms that it's real. He has a coin called Beefs. He says, "I'll send you beefs. Message me. I'll send you beefs." Beefs and wallets. So okay, it's real. It's real. I'll take some beefs. Beef Supreme.
Hey, I will definitely. Who doesn't love some meat? Send me some meat. Let's go. Now, just be careful of what kind of meat, but just send me meat coin, beef coin, beef coin. Yeah, beef coin. No beef cake. No beef meats. Don't take it the dirty way, because I had to close my DMs because some of y'all would be sending your meat, and I don't need to see that.
So you've had someone sending their Beef Supremes?
Yeah, I would not call them Beef Supremes. I would. Yeah, that's. Listen, There are some people that should be very ashamed of what they have sent me, like 100%. Like if I was them, I would not want that out there. But see, that's why guys don't get it. If a girl does not request it, don't send it. Because honestly, like, listen, I could have been a really crappy chick and been like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and post this somewhere else and make fun of you." But you know, those are things. That's why it's so important, you know, to be careful where you send things. But yeah. But I mean, honestly, that wasn't. I mean, I didn't get like a lot of those. More of it, I just got tired of. You know, I had lost control of my DMs after like my first like Twitter chat, and then I was getting, you know, like crap for if I didn't respond right away, and I'm like, it's not that I don't like you guys. Like I literally, if you guys saw how many DMs I have, like trying to keep up with it was just crazy. And I was unaware that everybody that I followed also could message me. So I was just like, oh, okay, maybe I have to limit who I'm following now so I don't get so many messages. But yeah, I turned off message requests from people that I don't follow after that because I was just like, you know what? I think one or two beefcakes in my DMs was enough, as well as all the requests to just give them money, which I always think is funny because it's like, I don't know who just goes around for money. Like, listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help sometimes, but if you're just going around people's inboxes asking for money, you know, there's a right way to do things, and that is definitely a wrong way.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you weren't getting Beef Supremes. The guys were sending you their PikaDoge.
Yes, mini PikaDoges. Very, very tiny PikaDoges. And it's like, listen, I need to be able to go to sleep at night without thinking of those tiny little PikaDoges. And because I had to scrub my mind from seeing one of those. It was just awful. A
scarring experience. Yeah. So do not send Coco Snorts your PikaDoge, folks. Batman versus Deadpool coming in with a $3 super sticker. How's it going with the Shiba Inu animation going there? Love it. I love it. Thank you, Batman versus Deadpool. Right on. And my guest tonight is Coco Chanel Adair. Nurse Terry Reed coming in with $15 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Nurse Terry Reed. Good to see you. I feel like it's been a few days. I notice when the regulars, they even kind of pop out for even a few episodes or a few days. To me, it feels like a whole week, and that's how it is with you, Terry Reed. I noticed you were gone for the last few shows, so it's so good to see you back. Loving our Doge family, Coco. Terry Reed asks, Coco, how's your kitty?
Yeah, so I had two cats that had babies, and we have one of them that has not been doing so well. Kind of has stopped eating. Not really sure what's wrong with it. It's crying a little bit. So I've been trying to nurse it with a little, and it's been kind of sad because like it's not doing so good. So I think Monday I have to go take it in. I've been trying to just like nurse it back to health, but it's not wanting to eat. So I'm gonna have to go get it checked out. But at least fortunately, the other ones are still healthy and doing good. We had an animal shortage actually for adoption out here in the Bay for a little while because we had a lot of people that during the pandemic they adopted a ton of animals, which was fantastic. And but then we had a lot of people who still wanted them, and people were like paying like $200 for like animals because they just wanted something to keep them company. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm okay with, two of the cats having, they weren't really supposed to. They got pregnant before we took them in to get fixed. So it wasn't expected, but I was like, yeah, it's okay. Like I had people lined up to get them. They're absolutely adorable. They're kind of in that phase of learning how to like pounce and learning how to fight. So it's cute watching a bunch of little kitties.
Yeah, right on. And what's the name of your kitty?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not even going to try to name all of them. There's only one that I plan on keeping, and it's white with blue eyes, and it has a tan nose and like a gray and tan tail. And that one is called Doge. Although I
Mm-hmm.
do have one that we named Billy, and I told Billy that I think that he should take that kitty because it is like the cutest, and it has a big M on its forehead. And I told him, I was like, "That's for Billy Marcus." I'm like, "That's your kitty right there." So he might actually take it, which I think would be really cool if he did.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And Billy lives not too far from you, right?
Yeah, we're not too far from each other, so that's why it's kind of nice. I feel like oh, I got some some family here in the Bay Area, some Doge family, so I like it. He had told me, he's like, yeah, he's like, I can, he's like, I'm thinking about getting an animal. I was like, well, you should get a cat. This is the perfect time. Do you have any animals, Stephen?
No, but I did grow up around dogs, and I love dogs. I'm just waiting to get sorted in my new place, which does allow dogs, and then I'll be Doge shopping myself. So I'll be looking forward to that because it's been a bit since I had a new best friend, and so looking forward to it. I'm looking for like a medium-sized dog that doesn't shed terribly too much with a decent. Get it? Do you think I should get a Shiba?
Yes, totally. They're such awesome dogs.
They're very expressive.
Honestly, they are expensive, but I will say that they are so friendly and so sweet. And just think about all the amazing picture opportunities for Doge.
Well, that's true. Steven Steele with the Shiba Inu pictures would be in abundance. I think that would be that could be a whole thing in and of itself. Above Wall Street coming in a $10 super chat. Thank you. Says beefs on Pancake Swap. OMG. I'm okay. Let's do it. Beefs is good to go. Beef Supreme. Inbox me, man. Let's hook it up. Send Steven Steele some beefs, man. I'm in. Throw some beefs. Let's throw some beefs in my trust wallet. I am down. And I gotta say, Above Wall Street too. I think it was responsible for putting up a Dogecoin billboard. I saw some pictures online about that. So good on you, Above Wall Street, for making that Dogecoin billboard happen. Just a shout out to that whole crew of dudes, Beef Supreme, Above Wall Street, I think Sir Dogecoin, and there's like a couple others whose names are eluding me right now that are in that crew. You guys have a lot of fired up big Doge energy every single day, and it's good to see. I love to see it. Just big Doge energy coming out of that crew, and so it's good to see those guys repping in here. And bringing it, absolutely, and great to see the huge Doge billboard. That is so cool to see, and this is something I think is worth the efforts, to go all the way across the country, and it is doable, especially if you can find people to team up and split the cost with, even for like a month. It actually becomes pretty doable. I mean, depending on the location, of course. I'm not saying that if you put it in Times Square or something, it'll be affordable to the average person. But it's more doable than what you think it is in a lot of locations. So yeah, beef's coming through on Pancake Swap. Awesome. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Good to see. So
I have a quick message from PikaDoge. They said clearly Discord cannot handle the electricity that my Pika peas bring. Poor Pika.
Clearly, I look forward to getting PikaDoge work back in here on a night that we can work it out. I can't handle it, but yeah, clearly tonight the PikaDoge energy is too much. So what were we talking about last, Coco? We were talking about your kitty and Bill.
Yeah,
Have you met up with Bill yet?
No, actually we are going to though. We're supposed to have a lunch with a special somebody that I cannot reveal, but yes, it is happening, and it will be awesome. I love Billy. I think he's truly just been, I was like everybody else. I had to earn my follow, and it took me a few months to get it. I posted funny memes and, positive stuff and finally got it. But, getting to know Billy, he's truthfully, he was a lot of the reason too why I feel so much more passionate about the community, because I see how much he's passionate about the community and how much he loves charities. And he hooked me up with an animal shelter out here that does animal rescues. And so, even my first conversation with him was about charities. And so I love that about him, that he's just always so positive and always so much about the charities and stuff. And I think that for me too was another reason that I just love Doge so much, is because I love who's behind the making of it. I think that's always so important with these cryptos, is knowing who created it, what was their reason, and being able to have that little bit of insight really helped me just kind of fall in love with the whole idea of Doge and the community even just a little bit more.
Yeah. I agree. Are you friends with I call her Lil Lauren? But
yes, little human.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, love her. Like I consider her a really good friend.
Yeah. I go on with her quite well too. Is she a Cali girl too? No.
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 Not
Okay.
that I know.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure.
No, but I do think at some point we need to start tweeting and find out where everybody's from, because it's one thing I feel like not a lot of us know where we all kind of come from. I feel like it's some of us put it in our profile and some don't, but I think it's cool that we just have so many from all around the world. For instance, Futuristic Angel in the chat, she's from Australia. Uh-huh. She's on our Dogepalooza. Adele, she's on our Dogepalooza team, real sweet. And we have so many people from all around the world, and I think that's what makes Doge just so fun to be as, that we have literally just people from every corner of the world that are getting to know about Doge and coming into the community. And so I just, that really is what makes this even more fun for me, is just seeing how many people are involved in it.
Yeah, definitely. And Dogecoin is definitely, it's worldwide. Absolutely. And it's always great to see where everyone's from. People are putting them in the chat now, anywhere from Australia to Texas to Cali, of course. Another Cali here coming in, and we'll just see where folks are from tonight. It's always kind of fun to see. Every once in a while, we'll do a roll call here to see where everyone's hailing from, and the results are usually from pretty varied all over. See, we've got Canada coming in. Yeah. Let me see.
I have to say, I think I will say though, I love California so much, but there are times where I'm like, do I want to move out of California? Do I want to go somewhere new? But then I just always get I don't know. I think I'm so in love with California that I'm like, I don't know if I can really leave here. But there are some times where I see other things in other states. I'm like, well, it's kind of an appealing reason to live there, go there and just do something, try something new. Would you ever move from where you're at?
Yeah, I would be open to it. I own a small business in the city that I'm in now, but it just depends on my financial situation. If my financial situation gets very, very comfortable, yeah, I would. So I've just got my hands in a few different things here, and just trying to build more and more financial security. And honestly, if Dogecoin goes to $2, I definitely will be open to moving.
Honestly, I think if it gets to, I think for a lot of us, it gets to $1, $2. Yeah, a bunch of us are going to have some nice new places to move to.
Yeah. I would say for me, because I bought my initial buy-in, which I wish obviously was more, was at right at 2 cents. And then thereafter, I just kept piling on thereafter. But for me, I think if we could get the closer it could get to $2, then I could be really styling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
we all have that price in our head that we're like, oh, okay, if it gets here, I'm real comfortable.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like 30K is great or whatever, but that's still not enough for me to like feel comfortable like just up and ending, you know. Yeah, that $2 margin, when I do the math in my head, I'm like, well, that definitely would be quite a game changer. You know, we're gonna try one more time with PikaDoge. What I'm gonna do, Coco, is I'm just gonna quick restart the Discord server. So you're just not gonna hear me for literally like 60 seconds tops. We're just gonna give it one last go, okay?
No worries.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna give it one last shot with the PikaDoge to see if we can get them through. Sometimes this Discord audio stuff can be pretty temperamental, and that's understandable. So we'll just wait for PikaDoge to kind of come back in here and see how it goes. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Above Wall Street coming in big with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Says shop some merch. Help us keep the Doge campaigns popping across the USA. Up to 20% of all profits go to promoting Doge. I love that, because it's you're taking 20% of your profits and putting it right back into promoting Doge across the USA. Thank you so much for that, Above Wall Street. And yeah, be sure to support Above Wall Street. They specialize in Doge gear of all sorts for men and women, whether it's t-shirts, mugs, hats, beach towels, etc., etc. Really cool stuff. I still have my Above Wall Street Doge shirt that I wear, and I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully PikaDoge can be joining us. Give it one more shot here. I'm just telling PikaDoge to try to join.
I know I need to hear Pika go Pika Pika.
I know. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Not holding my breath, but it's worth one last ditch effort here. Doge Palooza says, great show. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, guys, if you've got any questions for my guest, Coco, Chanel, Adair, or myself, feel free to pop them in the chat. So, going forward here, we are in June. And, you know, from what I remember spending a fair amount of time in San Francisco years ago when I used to be a full-time recording artist, did quite a bit of touring, and I consequently ended up spending quite enough quite a bit of time in San Fran. Do you hang out in Dolores Park at all?
Every once in a while, it's nice to go there for like a nice little picnic, especially like on a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, one of my favorite places to go is always the fine arts. Oh gosh, can't even think of the name of the park. I can't even think of it. Palace of Fine Arts. And that's probably one of my favorite little places to go, because you have like the little lake, and it's just really beautiful. The structure and everything there is just amazing. So that's probably one of my favorite places to go. But I'm sad because like so many of my favorite restaurants closed down. I really loved. It was called Bravo's Pizza.
Okay.
And it was probably hands down some of the best pizza and Italian food in San Francisco. So them shutting down because of COVID really was sad. But there was I will say that's probably the best, one of my favorite parts of San Francisco is like all the different types of food that you can get. Because you literally have people from all around the world that come there to open up restaurants. So you have such a huge variety of food to go and to eat. And, you know, sometimes the smaller little crappiest places are like the best places to eat.
Right. Yeah, and I'd imagine, because there's San Francisco is definitely a foodie town as far as the amount of quality and cool restaurants and bistros there. And I imagine that is one of the primary industries that took a tremendous hit through the pandemic. Yeah, especially with how long this has gone. I don't know. My goodness. PikaDoge, can you hear us at all? I guess it's not working. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on.
Pika.
Pico's mic is on mute. Take it off mute, Pika. And I don't even know.
Poor Pika. It's been such a struggle all day, and it was so sad because I had heard them right before we started, and then it's like now it hates it. Somebody asked, "How is LA compared to San Francisco?" It's definitely like a different vibe. Like it's weird. It's similar in some ways, but then it's completely different in some ways. I love that, with San Francisco, you kind of do get sometimes this more like hippie vibe and more like, just kind of like, we had a lot of people, from Silicon Valley and stuff, especially when Twitter and a lot of these bigger ones moved into the city. It really became more of like a tech business city again. But I definitely think that I loved LA. Like I spent a lot of time in Long Beach and like Malibu, and oh my gosh, it's just so, the beaches down there, the weather. I definitely think that their weather is a little bit more consistent with being, sunny and bright. But, I definitely, I don't know, I wouldn't mind moving to down to LA, especially like I did like Long Beach a lot. I thought it was really nice, and the vibe down there and the people were really cool.
Yeah, right on. Do you ever, have you ever spent any time in like Newport Beach area or anything like that?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful there. It's it's a very like ritzy kind of town, but honestly, it is so beautiful, and there's a lot of really amazing restaurants, and I mean the beaches are really what Newport's known for. So the beaches down there are just amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I used to spend a lot of time. I used to actually have a gal friend in the Newport Beach area, which is just a bit outside of LA, obviously. And one of my favorite places to eat there was called Bearfin, and they do fresh, like fatty tuna, like fresh caught like that morning. Except they'd have it like you could have like a fatty tuna burrito with some cilantro rice and some guacamole and some pico de gallo.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, it was so good. I haven't either. But I remember that was just my jam. That was my jam. And used to play a lot of skee ball. Out by the beach there. That was some good memories down there in Newport Beach. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Long Beach, Steven says Dogelander. And Terry Reed says she used to live in SF back in the day. She says
nice.
She says I'm an old hippie chick. That's awesome. Awesome.
I like Berkeley and San Francisco are definitely like the hippie centrals over there still. And honestly, but that's what gives it so much personality, especially like Berkeley. I mean, it's different now because of COVID, but pre-COVID, it was like the weekends were the best because you would just have like all the people with their, their little booths and street tables out, and, you could just kind of walk around, downtown. You could go to, what was that pizza? Like a Blondie's, and go get a fat slice of pizza and walk around and do a little shopping outside. And it was just awesome. And I don't know how much it's changed since, but yeah, by far one of my favorite places to hang out is Berkeley.
Yeah. Do you know what that, I remember seeing in 2011, which geez, is almost 10 years ago now already. Well, it is 10 years ago exactly. I remember seeing Daft Punk in an outdoor venue in Berkeley. Do you know what that's called? It's like a big outdoor venue in Berkeley. It's really nice, actually. Really nice venue.
I I don't know the name of it, but I think we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And what we did was this was on the tail end of my tour at that time. I think I had played a gig just the night before at the Mezzanine. You know where that is?
Yes, the Mezzanine's amazing.
Okay, so we used to play at the Mezzanine quite a bit back in the day. And then, so the next day, we went to Daft Punk in Berkeley, and then we flew out the next day to Colorado to go see Daft Punk at Red Rocks in Denver, which is another just gorgeous outdoor venue. So we just did them back to back. That was amazing, especially Daft Punk. They had like this huge, super in-depth like digital lighting show with like a big pyramid that they were atop of. You can look up footage of it on YouTube and everything else from the live tour, but it was just phenomenal. Pika's calling me on Discord. Let's see. I was trying to pick up Pika.
I will say, I think one of the best ones I ever saw was Chris Rock at the Paramount, and that was a really cool experience. If you've never been there, they're in Oakland. It's beautiful theater, but yeah, some really big acts play there. But Chris Rock, he just killed that show when I saw it. It was probably like, oh my gosh, probably like 10 years ago, but it was amazing.
That's awesome. Chris Rock is hilarious, and I miss his stand-up, and I know it's not a lot of people are even doing stand-up now because of the pandemic. I mean, we're starting to slowly see it again, but yeah, Chris Rock is hilarious. That would have been such a great time to see him too. I remember in San Fran. Hello? Sorry about that. In San Fran, seeing what was her name from Curb Your Enthusiasm? I don't know if if you're familiar with that show at all, but it's the woman that
one of my favorites.
Okay, so yeah, it's one of my favorites too. The woman who plays Jeff's wife, Susie. So her real name eludes me at the moment, but I saw her do stand up. in San Fran, and it was a riot. And that guy, the guy that plays Jeff on Curb Your Enthusiasm, he does stand up too. It's pretty good as well. But yeah, that show is one of my favorites. Someone's asking, Coco, can you please ask Steven where can we hear his music? You can ask me too directly. Coco, can you please ask for us? So right now, my current projects, I'm doing two projects. One, I'm doing a side project with my little nephew called Medium Fun, and my other solo project right now is called Ice Island. And I'm just popping a link in the chat right now to my link tree, and that way it's just like all my links, obviously, including my two music projects in there. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out my link tree. How long
have you been doing music?
Oh, quite a bit, quite a long time. My first band that I started playing in was in high school. I got recruited to play bass in this like hardcore punk band, and we actually were, pretty popular. Play all ages shows on Sunday afternoons and the clubs, and we'd draw like a couple hundred people every time, and they were pretty rowdy shows, pretty rowdy scene to be involved in back then. And then when I got older, my ambitions for the kind of music I wanted to do changed, and then I found myself doing a band called Codebreaker, that I formed. That was the predominant brainchild with, and one other guy where we wrote all the music, and that was kind of like a live, I guess the same kind of vibe as like Daft Punk as far as the people that were into it and listened to it, except we had like a live band, and when the live band was down, then I would DJ and did a lot of touring behind that project. And 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 now I'm doing, I do it. I'm still active in music and I love it and I will always write music, but now it's been relegated to just like more side project stuff. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know when this thing can pull you back into becoming more of a full-time thing. So who knows? Who knows?
No, I totally understand that. One of my side projects that I used to do that was just something I just like to do for fun, more of for myself, just because I love music, but I'm not much of a singer. But I love to make music. I love to make beats. I'm not like a pro at it, but it was just always something I had an interest in. And so I had a lot of, producer friends, out here in the Bay Area. And so they started teaching me, and it really became a passion. And I haven't been able to do it as much because I had kind of like a rough few years with my health, and then my laptop is just a complete piece of crap now, so I have to buy a new one so I can start making music again. Because trading and stocks was always my side love, and then when I finally had the time and the opportunity to learn more about it, now this is my main love and my main passion. And now I'm just now I'm like, well, now the next thing is going to be working more on my music, so making more beats and doing things like that. So yeah, I know that it's just some things are they just kind of turn into side projects for now.
Yeah. So you make beats. Like, what kind of stuff do you make?
Mostly hip hop and like rap, R&B, some like kind of sometimes techno, like pop beats and stuff, but mostly a lot of like rap, a lot of hip hop beats. My fiance does music, and so he also kind of took a break for a while, but he's probably like one of the most talented artists I've ever came across. Like, I always tell me, even if I didn't know him, I would think he was probably one of the most talented people I have ever met. Like, he's got this. I mean, honestly, I know this is a big stretch, but like, if anybody really heard his music, and actually, and I can say this, he is going to be performing at Dogepalooza. And so when he's there, everyone will get to hear him, and we will actually even be doing a live stream before Dogepalooza of certain artists that will get to perform. So he will be one of them, and it's gonna be so much fun. But I always tell him that, like, to me, if he really put his music out there and do it, I think he could even be bigger than Drake. Like, that's how, like,
wow, bigger than Drake, huh?
And that's a big statement, and I would not say that about anybody. Like, I always tell him all the time, if I didn't know him and we had never met, even if I wasn't physically attracted to him and I just heard his music, I would just still think he's crazy talented. He put a lot kind of on the side when I got sick, and I had two strokes, and basically our whole life just kind of got put on pause. And now that things are kind of setting back up, we're both trying to get back into our groove of doing things and just having fun and doing the things that we love. So I'm happy that he gets to perform at Dogepalooza. And I think, honestly, all of these things that are coming up are just so exciting. So I think it's going to be really fun to just have a big event where we can all meet and get to know each other, hear music, get to have good food, and just a good time. So I'm so excited.
That's awesome. And Coco, you're starting to fade a little bit in and out, so just make sure you're talking real prominently close into that phone.
Okay.
Erectile Reptile coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. Erectile Reptile. Steven, can you do a live performance at my funeral? As I recall, Erectile Reptile, you're definitely, I definitely got a few years on you, young man. So in the event that I were to outlive you, and the mighty Steven Steele just might do that, Erectile Reptile. So in the event that does happen, I suppose I could honor that request for you. Fact, the youngest pope in the history of popes was Pope Benedict, who was 11 years old at the time of election. He is also the only person to have been the pope more than once. Thank you for that fact. That's a new one for me. There's only been one or two times I recall that you've ever given me a fact, Reptile, that I had already known. I think it was like two facts that I already known. Other than that, these have all been brand new accumulations of knowledge for myself and probably for, I'd reckon, for the rest of the room. So, Reptile, thank you again for your continued support of the show. And how's your lady game coming along? Remember when I coached you some advice on some cold approach with the ladies? You said was turned out to be a successful venture for you. Did that date ever materialize with that lady that you got the Snapchat from? Let us know. Isaac Castile coming in with $5 super chat. Thank you, Isaac. Just listened to Left Behind. I'm digging it. Yeah, that is the latest single with my side project with my brilliant little nephew, who's just really a musical genius for his age. He's almost only 15 years old now, and I fly out east to do recording sessions with him here and there, and he's just brilliant for his age. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, Isaac. My nephew, he actually was recording some stuff in Los Angeles with a rep that works with like Disney kids and stuff like that. So they were looking at him. So he went out there with his dad. And he's really into, who's this big pop star? His name is eluding me right now. It's like one word. You'd know it if you heard it. I'm so I'm looking it up on Spotify because right when I say his name, people will likely know it. Anyway, he's like a massive like pop star, right? And he's like this massive pop star, and this kid somehow found out where he lived, and in the LA area, and he had his dad drive him there, and Lauv, that's who it is. LAUV. Some of you have probably heard of him. But yeah, he's just like a massive like pop star writer. And so he finds out where Lauv lives, and he has his father drive him there. And he for some reason the gate was open, so he walked right up to Lauv's front door, and he knocks on the door. And no one answers, and he waits there a little while longer. And he knocks again. Still no one answers. Feeling somewhat defeated, my little nephew starts walking back down the driveway. Then he pauses, stops, pivot points, turns around, decides to give it one last shot, marches up to that door one last time, knocks louder and harder than ever before. And then sure enough, here comes the door. Slowly opening. Lauv peeks his head out. Looks like he just woke up from a hangover. Looks bemused, befuddled, confused, and says, "Who are you?" It's my little nephew. My nephew nervously tries to get it together and said, "My name's Kenny, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'm a songwriter, and I'm out here with my dad, and I just really look up to you, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted you to know who I am." And then he started laughing. He says, "No one's ever done this before. I don't know how you found out where my house was." And then he said, "What's your IG? What's your Spotify?" And so now they are messaging back and forth, and he's sending them stuff. And so who knows what becomes of it. But it's pretty funny. It definitely took a lot of guts for the kid to do something like that. I don't know if I would have done something like that, particularly as a 14-year-old. Coco, how you feeling over there?
I'm good. I actually just, my fiance just brought me a little something to smoke on. But other than that,
what?
Other than that, I was actually just posting one of his songs since somebody was just asking me to post one of his songs. So I just posted one of his songs so people can give him a listen to. He has not released any of his new stuff yet, but I'm very excited for his new stuff to be dropped soon.
And what's his artist? Does he have an artist name?
Yeah, he goes by Sonny Bono, and it's SonnyBono.
Sonny Bono? SON.
Yep, just like Sharon Sonny Bono. So it's SONNY.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think, excuse me, I think most of his music is actually under it's S0NY. But I just posted the link to his SoundCloud and his Reverb Nation.
Okay, got it. Let's see. Did I catch up on the super chats? Okay, yep, we are caught up on super chats. Yes, and Coco.
Do you have any big plans? Do you have any big plans for the weekend, Steven? What are you doing? I feel like I haven't heard you say much about what you're doing this weekend.
I mostly, between working on this content creation stuff, that definitely takes a chunk of the time. But I also mostly just working on my business. So I kind of toggle back and forth between those things. I don't have like much of a social life now between my responsibilities with my business and how much time I spend on doing this sort of stuff and my current health condition. So kind of juggling between those three things. My life's, it's busy, but limited, put it that way.
How do you like unwind? Like when you want to get away from like the drama, craziness, and not look at the charts, what do you do to unwind?
I put on really silly movies from the 80s. That's what I do. I watch like just ridiculous movies from the 80s are one of my favorite things to do.
Like what's your favorite?
Like In the Dark. I find watching like fun movies like In the Dark is like, laying down is super meditative and relaxing for me. While eating some like snacks. So, I really like Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I loved Kurt Russell as a kid. One of my favorite 80s movies used to be Dirty Dancing. I had a huge crush on Patrick Swayze. I remember when I was like, I think I was only like 3 when that movie came out or something, but I remember being 3 years old and having a crush on Patrick Swayze. I used to make my cousin lift me up like how he does with the girl in the movie. Like I used to run across the room and jump. My mom has like videos on VHS somewhere. And so like I used to always want to just dance like that. Like I was very much a movie kid growing up. So I always like to imitate what I see in movies. And so like I remember Save the Last Dance. Like I remember trying to take dance lessons, trying to learn moves and stuff. Like I was so that person that like Inspector Gadget, like I remember as a kid watching that show, and I used to pretend that my book was like a computer, and and it's so funny because now we have tablets, but you know, and it's like back then you didn't think that things like that would ever happen, but I just remember thinking that it was so cool. She had a watch. She was really like one of the first ones I ever saw with basically what was kind of almost an Apple Watch. And she used to be able to talk to, you know, Inspector Gadget through the watch. And then she had the book that was the computer. And I loved that stuff. So as a kid, I used to always like pretend a lot. Like that was always what I was doing when I'd watch movies or shows.
You know, when I was a little kid, do you remember the cartoon Inspector Gadget? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, that's exactly. I never watched the movies really. I loved the cartoon. That's what I was like hooked onto. Do
you remember the theme song? It was like doop a doop a doop Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah, I still like honestly. I had that as my ringtone for like a long time. Like when I had like my first. I had that as like one of those, you know, ringtones that you would pay $2.99 off the commercials. You know, before you could.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
Before.
Yeah.
That's how old. Yes, I know I'm old. It's okay. I admit it. But it was like I just remember those were like, and you would really think in your head that it sounded like it, but really it just did not sound like it most of the time, unless it was like a super simple beat. But yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to sing it. We thought we were really funny. We used to sing it inspect her gadget. Yeah. So Chad
I think
Beg.
a lot of people thought that though. There was quite a few people that I actually knew that used to think that was what the words were, and I had to like correct them. I'm like, no, it's Inspector Gadget. I was so into detective and spy stuff. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a secret agent. Like that was my ultimate goal as a kid. I had two goals. It was either I was going to be, a lawyer, or I was going to be a secret agent. And those were like the only two things I really wanted to do when I was a kid.
Secret agent. I had a there's this guy that I was friends with named Dan, and he was Korean, and he always used to dress really sharp, and we nicknamed him, and he loved the nickname, by the way. It was Secret Asian Man. Secret Asian Man, and he loved it. Yeah. So Secret Asian Man. Chad Bagley coming through with $3 super chat. Thank you, Chad. The Running Man is a great 80s movie. Yes, it is one of my favorites as well. That is starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, kind of a quasi-futuristic science fiction film from the 80s where he gets recruited as an outlaw to be in this game show, this televised game show against his will, where basically you have to go through this. You're the running man. You got to go through this like big maze that they have set up for you with all these other kind of fixtures within the game show that are out to kill you, and in different ways. And they all have like different weapons and weaponry and stuff like that. So obviously the challenge of the person that they put in the running man situation is to make it all the way through there, right? So there actually is a video game from the 80s based off of the Running Man called Smash TV. And that is actually where I got the phrase, the way I say it. That's where it was inspired from when I say, I love it. That's where I get it from. I get it from the video game, kind of an obscure reference, Smash TV, loosely based off of the movie Running Man. So thank you, Chad Bagley. I agree. What's another one of your favorite 80s movies, Coco Chanel?
No, I kind of have a few. I have to think about that. Good 80s movies. I really loved, it's right on the cusp of, like, I guess the 80s and 90s, but I loved all the Lethal Weapons. Loved all the Lethal Weapons. Like, I was a huge, like, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson fan. Loved them. Loved all the movies. I think probably, like, I actually think that the fourth one was... The third or the fourth one, I would say, is my favorite, though, because I loved Joe Pesci, but then I loved Chris Rock in the fourth one. So I felt like, I don't know, they're all so good, but those were probably, like, my favorite, like, 80, 90 movies.
Yeah, I agree. I do love the dynamic between those guys, and then obviously Danny Glover would always say, "I'm getting too old for this shit."
Well, you know, my fiance had never seen him, and so I made him watch some of them. I actually hate watching movies with him because he's a morning person and I'm a night person. So by the time he's ready to watch a movie, he just ends up falling asleep, like halfway through the movie, or he'll fall asleep like right in the middle of the part. So it drives me crazy. And I literally will have to, like, sometimes I get frustrated. I'll just wake him up. But I tried to get him to watch, like, some of, the Lethal Weapons and some of the Die Hards, because, like, Die Hard is another, like, amazing. How many of that? I don't even know how many there is now. I
think there's 3.
No, I know, because they came out with, like, I know that there was, like, 1, 2, and 3, but then they came out with, like, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Hard. I don't know. There's probably, like, the last one I saw, I think, was from, like, 2008 or something.
So there's,
yeah, they have quite a few of them.
So there's Die Hard, Die Harder, Die Hardest, Die Hardiest Dear.
Die Hard. Yeah, so there's there's a Good Day to Die Hard. Actually, that one was pretty good. That was in 2013.
There's one
and
called
that one wasn't bad.
Wait, there's one called It's a Good Day to Die Hard.
That was the last one. I know. And the one before that was Live Free or Die Hard.
Oh, okay, now that one makes sense to me. That's what he said. Live free or die hard. Yeah. I mean,
I'm telling you, if you don't start doing movies, I'm gonna be upset because that's a waste of a movie voice right there.
Well, I am going to be the official voice of Ass Token with their some of their promos going forward. So that's where at least that's where I can get my start.
Okay, well, and don't forget you have the Coco Snort cereal.
Okay, and then after that, I will do my commercial for Coco Snort cereal. And what is the slogan we decided?
I'm cuckoo for Coco Snorts, I think. Or what was it? I don't know how you did. I think it was that one. I think we tried a few of them.
I'm cuckoo for Coco Snorts. Okay, there's one, and then there's another one that what we say it's do it for the box.
I think that was the other one was do it for the box, or I don't know, something along those lines though.
Get cuckoo for Coco Snorts. Just do it for the box. How about that?
Oh my god, that's so perfect. That is like hands down the most perfect announcer for my cereal ever. You are hired, Steven Steele.
Okay.
You are hired.
Okay, very good. Dozelander coming to you with $2. Thank you, Dozelander. Running Man was hugely underrated. Again, I agree, my friend. Those of you who haven't seen the Running Man, check it out, stream it. It's well worth it. And what else is going on? Rock Lobster says, dude, I saw 7 on acid and that was effed up. Yeah, I feel like I'm not a man that engages in those kind of pastimes, but I feel like that would be a pretty intense combination. So take care of yourself, Rock Lobster. So I'm trying to think.
Wait, is Rock Lobster not having any bidding wars tonight? See, we needed David in here. We needed another tipping war to happen because, I know Rock Lobster played a hard game with David that night.
He did. I think David was getting frustrated and David was sweating a little bit there. He was like, "What is this? What is this?"
Well, I can tell you right now that's exactly why this crypto bully thing is happening is because he is a man that does not back down.
Yeah, totally. I am actually looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to. I understand David needs a full year, but maybe we could at least get him to shave it down to like 7 months or something like that.
A little bit, a little less time, because I feel like in a year from now they might have made up and hugged and stuff, and we don't need that. We
don't want to make up. I want
not yet.
No, I want David G to bring the heat, man.
I think he will. Did you? I reposted earlier. He posted a video of himself boxing.
Oh, did he really?
He was hitting the box, the bag and stuff. So I was like,
nice.
Okay, started. Okay, I see it.
Nice. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna work on like a trailer, like a little trailer for them with a voice.
Good.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I'm fully on Team David G on that one. Chad Bagley.
Can we announce you as the official announcer for the show?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
There we go. Steven Steele, the official announcer of the David G and Crypto Bully charity boxing match.
Maybe we could do something like a full on live stream where I'm narrating it too, and where I'm narrating the live stream. I think that could be really cool.
I honestly, I've never been happier about the people that are coming together for this, hands down, because we have Black Excellence is going to be there as David's manager and trainer. And we have a lot of good people, and I guess Crypto Bully has somebody he's gonna bring. So, it's gonna be a fight for the books. I'm telling you, I'm more excited about this than any Floyd or Logan Paul fight.
Chad Bagley coming in with a $4 super chat. Hashtag toes after dark.
Oh no, not again with the toes. Oh my gosh. I thought we moved on from this, everybody. Remember, it's David. It's David. Will you guys want to see his left toe, his left foot, the only feet?
I'm not opposed to seeing some toes if it's like on a woman that's I find cute and they're cute little feet. I guess I wouldn't be opposed to seeing something like that. But I was very surprised and amazed at the outpouring of curiosity towards people wanting to see David's toes.
For me, it was the specifics. It went from wanting to see him completely naked. Then it got shrunken down to they just wanted to see his feet. And then it got really specific to that left foot. And I still haven't figured out what it is about the left foot. What do you got against the right foot? Are you one of those left Twix people that, you're team left Twix? Because I just don't get the specifics of the foot.
It got disturbingly specific. And a few of the regulars that are usually around here, I don't see them around here tonight, they were propagating a lot of that. I know that
they were very pro toe.
Yeah, I know. Imperial Beats is definitely very pro toe, but he's not in here tonight. He usually is. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing if he's not here tonight. David, Lady Doge says, "Don't y'all forget about Goonies, Lost Boys, Stand By Me." 16 Candles, all great films, all great suggestions, Lady Doge. Boy, hard to pick a favorite out of that. I guess out of those four, I would deduct it down to Goonies and Lost Boys. Out of those two, I would have to give Lost Boys number one by a slim margin. Goonies with a very, very close second. RW says Die Hard is the best 80s movie. Blade Runner 2, of course. Yes, Blade Runner. The first Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time. Dozelander coming in with $2. Thank you, Dozelander. Sorry, Dozers. Best 80s movie is Aliens. So funny you say that, Dozelander. I literally just streamed Aliens on Amazon Prime 2 nights ago, and it really held up the test of time. Now, I hadn't seen that film in years, many years, until I did again 2 nights ago. Really holds up really well. I think that's a James Cameron film with Sigourney Weaver. Have you ever seen that, Coco?
Okay, I'll be honest. I think I have, but it's been so long that I remember almost nothing about it. I remember seeing the Alien and Predator movie when it was in movie theaters, but I hadn't really seen. I haven't seen all of the Alien. Lately, I have actually been. I've been watching one of my favorite stoner movies again that I hadn't seen I was younger, and I've just been kind of watching Super Troopers and Beer Fest. Baked. Just watching a lot of the old stoner movies and stuff that I hadn't seen in a while. So I think maybe that'll be my next one. I'll go on a 80s movie binge and start watching some. I already know this next statement's going to be very controversial. So
what is it?
Don't attack me in the chat, buddy. Okay, I was sheltered. I didn't see every movie I should have, but I have not seen the Goonies, so I will watch them full.
This show is over.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Yes, that is your number one assignment, young lady.
Okay, I will make that my first priority tomorrow is to watch the Goonies. Okay, because I know some of the little things from the movie, but I just never saw it, so I don't know how, but I will watch it.
Okay, done deal. I will check up on you in a 48-hour period and see if you've done your homework.
Okay, well, I got one for you, Steven.
All
Still,
right.
have you seen CB4 with Chris Rock?
I have seen CB4 with Chris Rock. It's hilarious.
Good job. That is like one of my favorites. I love that movie. Like, if nobody's seen that one, oh my gosh. Oh
Yes.
no, I'm getting tired in the chat. See, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah,
oh,
see,
okay, Sammy said me. She said me neither. So okay, I'm not the only one. Phew.
I love one of the Wayans brothers are in that too, right? In CB4.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I love where he's like he's watching TV, and that he's like watching a fake music video from one of the Wayans brothers. And
yeah.
You know the song I'm talking about?
Yes.
I don't think I can sing it, being me.
No, we can't say that here without getting you demonetized.
Yeah, without somebody like thinking I'm being offensive, but
exactly.
Isn't that hilarious?
No, I'm telling you, that is hands down one of my favorite, like probably like old school movies too. I mean, there's a lot I'm sure I could think of, but I just sometimes I'm not good with like off the top stuff. But like I really, there's so many movies like that was probably so much of my life because that used to be like kind of a tradition with me and my mom. Is like Fridays, like after school, her and I would go see a movie, and that was just kind of like our daughter, thing that we did. And we always were seeing new movies, but I actually fired her picking movies for a while because she took me to go see Glitter and Snow Dogs all in the same week, and I just lost my mind. And so I told her she was fired from picking the movies anymore. But it's okay because I got her back. I took her to go see Jackass 2, I believe. And she was traumatized.
That is hilarious.
I won't say exactly what, but the scene with the horse and the drink, that was enough but I told her, I was like, nope. And she knew she had to fess up because she took me to see Glitter and Snow Dogs, and it was a fair trade, honestly. It was a fair trade.
Ah, I see. Got it. Anthony Grant coming through with $5 super chat. On the road to St. Louis, staying away from the markets for a week. Hope everyone holds on strong. Probably not a bad idea, Anthony Grant. The way things have been going, I don't think you'll miss a whole lot, honestly. If you just don't even look at your portfolio for a week, I don't think you'll miss a lot. What do you say? What do you say, Coco?
Honestly, I do that so much more now. There was like for quite a while. I mean, and I think I go in like phases with this. When it's kind of boring like this, I just kind of honestly don't look at my profile very much. I sometimes won't even look at it for like a few days, at least minimum. It's kind of like it became like a habit where I was doing it every day, and I would just always charge up and stuff. But that's only really when things are active and when there's a lot going on, and really there just hasn't been lately. So I've been actually kind of more paying attention to some of my stuff. I've been watching AMC real closely. So I think for me it's like if I get if it's stagnant in one area like in crypto, then I'll start looking at some of my more active stuff. Or if it's stagnant in stocks and stuff, then I'll start looking more at my crypto if it's volatile or not, or if there's a lot going on. And if nothing's going on in either, then I just kind of look at it. I just do other stuff, and because I know at the end of the day, it's as I said, this is a long game. You can't stay diamond hands and not know them. Diamond hands means that you're holding. You're not gonna let anything stop you from paper hands. You're letting it go. We're not doing that. And I mean, for me personally, as I said, I'm waiting until I can spend Doge at all the places that I want to. So that's just my personal opinion. And everyone has to have that goal and kind of what they want to do.
Yeah, well stated. And just so you know, I don't know if you're on wireless headphones or whatever, but your signal keeps getting weaker. Flight of the Navigator says Luminal. Yes, Flight of the Navigator is great. And then have you watched the series Startup No, I haven't watched Startup. I've never even heard of that. Titnurse Terry Reid. And Lumino also says, oh, The Abyss. The Abyss is great. Flight of the Navigator is great. Of course, The Never-Ending Story, someone else said. That is an absolute classic. I actually saw Flight of the Navigator remastered on the big screen in the theater last year for the first time. Obviously, show that a movie that I was familiar with from watching on TV over the years a few times, but first time seeing it on the big screen. It was awesome. Epic movie. Dojelander coming in with $5. Thank you, Dojelander. You guys really leave Rocky IV out of the mix. Really single-handedly gets us out of the Cold War. Hello. Dojelander fired up about that. Almost borderline offended that we left Rocky IV off the list, Coco. Rocky IV starring Sylvester Stallone and the character by the name of Ivan Drago, a Russian fighter, as played by, what's that dude's name? Dolph Lundgren. And he's at one point, he says to Sylvester Stallone, and one of the iconic lines is, "I must break you." And I remember seeing Rocky IV in the theater with my friend at the time when we were little kids. And then after that, we started training like we were in Rocky IV in the snow, pulling each other by the sled, lifting weights. We were just really inspired by that whole movie. It is pretty epic. Rocky IV is pretty epic. Have you seen any of the Rocky movies, Coco?
I'm so afraid to answer this question, Stephen. I don't want to answer it. I'm already in trouble for the Goonie statement. I can't answer it. I'll get in so much trouble.
Okay, so Coco has seen zero Rocky movies. There's at least, I think all four. There's like a 5 that you could take or leave, but the first 4 you could really can't go wrong with any of the first 4, honestly, I think. And Mr. T is actually in the second one, or the third one, the man with the mohawk from the A-Team. Let me see. Yeah, that's another line, Dojelander. If he dies, he dies. Yes. But I like that movie. Coco hasn't seen any of the Rocky movies, but, she has seen Dirty Dancing. Something that
here's what I will say.
Okay.
The movies that I like, I once I find a favorite movie, I used to watch it 100 million times, over and over and over and over and over, and I used to not get tired of it. And so for me, those movies were all the Batman movies. The Batman movies, hands down, were probably some of my favorite movies growing up.
Okay.
I've always been a huge Batman fan, but then also I would say Scarface, Goodfellas, Blow, those kind of movies. I was really into the gangster kind of movies and stuff, and so Scarface I probably see more than any other movie, hands down. That, Goodfellas, and Casino and Blow, I would probably say those were hands down my favorite movies. So I used to just watch my favorite ones over and over and over.
But yeah, I can feel that. I vibe with that. Scarface, of course. Casino. Have you seen the first original Batman movie from 1989 with Michael Keaton and
100%. That was what made me fall in love with all of the just Batman in general, was that very first one, and Jack Nicholson's the Joker. That's why I think, honestly, it's so hard because we've had so many good Jokers, but I would say him and Heath Ledger were hands down, just their performances in the movie were so good. And it was I feel like what was nice is each one had its own, vibe to it, because we had Tim Burton in the first 3, and then, or was it the first 2? But I think he was just in 2. I don't know. But either way, we had different vibes because we had different directors for them. And so I really liked that each one kind of was different. Yes, the George Clooney one was not very good. I actually did like the Val Kilmer one. I still didn't think it was that great either, but preferably I liked the first and the second one, and then of course I liked Dark Knight. Dark Knight was just hands down one of the best. Heath Ledger's performance, everyone's performance. Now, do I think that Christian Bale was the best Batman? No, I think Michael Keaton will always be the best Batman, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that he did a good job, for that movie, and I think he did a good job acting against Heath Ledger. Rest in peace. What a sad loss, because he was hands down one of my directors.
Yeah, obviously brilliantly talented. Ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Dogelander says, coming up with $5. Yes.
The very first one. Yeah, that's the original line.
Yeah, he says, ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask that of all my prey. Yes, and
such a great movie.
Yeah, everyone does such a fantastic job in that. I think my favorite line from Jack Nicholson, and there's a lot of amazing one-liners in that movie from Jack Nicholson, but is when he has kidnapped Kim Basinger, who I used to have an enormous crush on as a young man. And he kidnapped Kim Basinger on top of a roof and had her dressed up in a dress. And he was dancing with her as he was kind of just dragging her along. And he says to her, Beauty and the Beast. And if anyone else ever calls you Beast, I'll rip their eyes out. That's so
such a good job. That's why it's so hard, because him and Heath Ledger were kind of different Jokers in a way. They were the same character, but, Heath Ledger was a little bit more, dark. And Jack Nicholson was dark, but with a lot of humor in it. And so I feel like, that's where the two, contrasted. But, each one of them was just phenomenal.
I agree. And I'm going to agree with you on Michael Keaton being the best Batman. For me, the 1989 Batman it ranks on one of my favorite films of all time, because it straddles. To me, it perfectly straddles the tone between dark and whimsical and comedy and kind of like fantastical, and all in one. And then, of course, you had Prince doing part of the soundtrack, and then you had Danny Elfman doing the other part of the soundtrack for just a lot of the instrumental vibe stuff. It's just... And then, of course, Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton. This is just...
I'm laughing at somebody's comment saying, okay, Coco, loving Keaton, sign me up to be pool boy number 2. I'm sold.
There we go.
You know what? I feel like, that's always one of the most important things. Like when people go on a date, you need to see what kind of movies and music somebody likes, because I feel like those are such important things to, you can have, differences on certain things, but I feel like movies and music, you can't have too much of a difference in, because that's, I think, a big part of relationships. At least it is for me. Is that a big, deal breaker to you if, a girl, isn't into the same movies or music as you?
To me, it would almost be more movies than music. Which sounds funny being a recording artist. When I was younger, I used to put way more stock in having to have music tastes be really compatible with a girl I was thinking about dating seriously or anything like that. But the older I got, the less I cared. And for me now, it's more just as long as the girl isn't super close-minded to different kinds of music, I can work with it. As long as she's open. Because the thing is, I'm such a music nerd, and the kinds of music that I usually like the most aren't really terribly popular a lot of the time. So
is there any music that you can just not stand, that you can't listen to, and that would be a deal breaker for you?
Yeah, there'd be a couple. There'd be a couple. I would say, like, okay. So, I used to DJ at a gentleman's club for about a year and a half, and I remember the deal breaker between myself and a lot of the girls that worked there was their taste in music, because I had to play their kind of music. And
you were not having it. Like, 'cause, I mean, that's the thing that's why I say music is such an important thing. And because if you can't vibe with someone on music, it makes it really hard to have a good, especially in a work environment.
It's just kind of like there's only a few select kinds of music that I feel that way about. But everything else I could even, but most other kinds of music, what I'm saying is, it can even like be not most kinds of music outside of these few segments could be not my thing, but it doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? But like a girl, for example, if her like number one jam is like R&B and like that's her number one thing, I can't roll. Like I just can't hang. I can't hang. Her number one thing for me can be, it could be hip hop. It can be rap.
Yeah.
That could be your number one thing. That can keep me like my head bobbing, keep me interested. But if every time I'm hanging out and she's got the slow jams with the whiny voice going, I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
No, I understand that. I think like for me, I'll be honest, like I love all kinds of music. I grew up on literally every type of music you could possibly even imagine. And it made me help like appreciate music. But I think for me, like the one music that I just can't hear too much of because of just I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just maybe really picky about it because I do like some, I just don't like a lot, and that's probably country. You know, I like, see, I just saw somebody say country is the deal breaker. Yeah, I think for me, I would say, yeah, I'm going to have to say it's a deal breaker only because, you know, it's just not, I really like a certain beat in my head. And sometimes I feel like I don't get that as much with country. And I think, you know, everybody just has their different tastes, but it just, you know, I think for me, I can't do too much of it. Like I couldn't be in the car with somebody on a road trip listening to that the entire time. I think it would drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's understandable. In fact, for most of my younger life, I would have said that country is a deal breaker for me. And I used to feel that way. And then I dated a country gal, that I liked quite a bit. I almost married her, and we were together for a few years, and it slowly won me over. Now, this could in part have to be with how wild I was about her, right? But it's slowly won me over. I do like, now I will say even now, I do like a fair amount of country western, but none of it's like the new stuff. I like the classic stuff, kind of the bluegrass classic stuff like Johnny Cash and
I love
Hank and that stuff.
But, like, I agree with that. Like Johnny Cash to me is probably one of my favorite artists. Like, especially, I don't know, I think after I saw Walk the Line, it gave me like a new appreciation for him and his music.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I definitely am a big Johnny Cash fan.
Yeah. I like that whole era of country, that whole vibe. And there's you know, several other artists that kind of have similar tonality out of those eras that I quite like a lot. So as far as the newer stuff, it's newer stuff in country. It gets a lot more difficult for me to find newer country that I can vibe with. You know,
I feel like it's just part of like getting older, where you just you stop liking as much new music, and you're like, oh, I like older music and I like older movies, you know, and I guess that is just really part of getting older, because like I find myself listening to less and less new stuff. Mm-hmm. And just really finding myself listening to older stuff that I know I really like. I mean, excuse me, I'll hear some newer stuff that I like, but just not nearly as much as I used to. You know, I remember like the days where it's like you would turn on the radio and you would just hear hit after hit after hit after hit, and now it's like one out of like every 5 songs. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bobbing my head to this, and even then, it's not like, you know, crazy about it.
Yeah, yeah. I like some super. They call it like outlaw country, where it's just like it's not mainstream country at all. It's not like radio country, but it's like super crazy, like up tempo, more raw, rednecky kind of stuff. And I like that stuff too because it's just got more of like a real vibe that just like hits me and gets me pumped up. I'd say Hank Williams III would fall under that. It's almost like punk rock country, I guess I would describe it as. It's pretty cool. But it's also one of those things too. I think a lot of times we're all motivated by this. We associate a lot of our best memories and our finest memories and nostalgia with what we perceive to be our favorite kinds of music, So a lot of times it can be really subjective according to what kinds of memories we have associated with certain kinds of music and groups, artists, and songs. So
yeah, I love that about music and movies, though. It can bring you back to like an exact feeling, an exact memory. And I think that's why music is like such a part of like my soul, because like it's funny because my fiance always wants me to try and sing, and I just am not a singer. It's just not in my DNA. He's told me, he's overheard me sing, and he thinks I can sing, and I tell him that he's a very good liar, but that there's no way in heck I can sing. So I just like to stick to making beats. That's my thing. That's my way I bond with music. Him, he can write and, record. He can rap. He can sing. He does it all. But for me, I'm just strictly like, I love just to make the beat, like to get that, and then to find that perfect voice on the beat. For a little while, like I was doing it, starting to do it serious, and then when I got sick, I just had to put everything on the wayside. But I definitely think now that I'm doing so much with crypto now, I want to get my other side project going, and that's music. So I'm gonna, once I get a new laptop, I'm definitely just getting started on it again.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Someone's asking me about Mac Miller. Yeah, Mac Miller was obviously an incredibly talented dude. Yeah, absolutely. I'm Indian outlaw, half Cherokee, and Kata, and my baby, she's Chippewa. She's a one of a kind Berber. Okay. You gave us a lot there, Liminal.
That was like a mouthful right there, trying to say all that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just okay. Got it. I tried. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Coco Chanel, because I've definitely had to put some of my goals and my lifestyle stuff and aspirations on hold for my current health situation as well. So,
yeah, how are you feeling lately, Stephen? Because I know you've been going through your own stuff. So how have you been feeling?
Off and on. It's just been, honestly, it's been pretty debilitating overall. But I also know that it's got to be my road back is kind of, it's not going to happen overnight. And it's just going to take a lot of lifestyle consistency decisions every day over 100%. A long period of time. I just got to be patient with myself and patient with my body, and before I can get back out there swinging.
Well, definitely saying a prayer for you, because if anybody can relate, it's me. It's not easy, and I remember, honestly, when I got to that point where I had to, literally, it took 3 doctors standing around me after my first stroke, telling me, you cannot work a stressful job. You cannot do anything where you are stressed, even at the slightest. You have to do something where really able to relax, be peace, because honestly, stress is a big part of triggering health problems. And so that was a big thing of kind of what happened to me. And so that's why it's so important to take time away from things that are stressful. Money will always be there, but sometimes your health and your sanity are worth so much more than any job or, any stressful boss, anything like that. It's just not worth it. There's a million jobs out there. There's a million opportunities. And sometimes it just feels scary. But sometimes you have to take that leap, because otherwise you are stuck at a miserable job and with miserable people, and then you become miserable, and it takes an effect, a slow effect on you. And so I think, whether you have had hereditary health problems or, you develop some of the time, either way, it's just so important to take care of your health and to go to the doctors, to get checked, and to make time for yourself. Because, I think so often we get so busy just going, and thinking money is just everything. And we stop and forget how much it's important to just, go outside and put our phone down and just breathe fresh air and talk to people without a phone, sit at dinner without a phone, no TVs on. And sometimes those things are hard, especially when your job is connected to it. But at the end of the day, your health just has to come first. It has to, because, no health, no job, money.
I obviously totally agree. I'm just one of these. I'm a very industrious person, so even if I'm bedridden, like, I will be productive for every moment of the day. I will be finding things to be knocking out of the park and being on top of, and either creating or making sure I'm putting those efforts into, whether it's my business or cultivating this whole thing. I'd say one of the main silver linings to the last 6 months of my life was I don't think I would have created all of this without me going through what I have been going through. So the silver lining is I've been able to create this and put all this time into content creation and building out this community and participating in it, and just creating all of this. So in my little corner of the internet. So I don't think this would have transpired unless I was having severe health issues.
But you know what, though, I'm a big firm believer in that sometimes things have to fall apart for better things to come together.
Yes.
And you sometimes you have to go. Like, I can honestly say that going through everything that I went through, it refocused me, it recentered me, it made me a better person, it made me a more empathetic person. It made me just realize what was really important. And I took a break from, everything, because, it was hard. I got sick twice at the peak of my career. And
Sure.
And that was really hard, because I was like, man, like, when you're on a roll, when you're on a hot streak, you kind of got to keep going. Consistency is everything. And so when your health isn't consistent, it makes it really hard to be consistent in your career. And so that was really hard. But, one of the things I learned is it's not, how hard you fall, it's how you get back up. Are you really doing everything you can to get back up? And I think, after my second stroke, and I had to learn to walk again, I had to deal with just so many different things. And so being able to go through all of those struggles, you just are so focused on what really matters, and truthfully wanting to. That's why I love the Doge community, because honestly, it is the whole, purpose is that we want to do only good every day. And I was living my life like this, before that. And so, to have a community that all feels the same way, and that they want to see a better world, they want to see nicer people, those are things that really actually matter. And so those kind of things to me, they align with what I've learned the last few years. I think a lot of people on the pandemic learned, oh, hey, work isn't everything, spending time with family is. And, of course, everybody went a little cabin crazy, being, cooped up with family that long. But in the long run, we learned to, start spending more time with each other and get to know each other again. And, that's why I say, family, all that stuff. It's hard. We all go through struggles with our families, but we have to learn to, come back together and make things work.
Yeah, I think what listening to you talk there kind of reminds me of something I've been thinking about, where especially in light of the pandemic and how it's severely changing the social dynamics of everything. What also has transpired, I think that also has playing a strong role in crypto communities relying even more on being communities and outlets for people's social lives, and building social communities out of these things. So it's kind of interesting to see the dynamics between people's own vested financial interests and need for social interaction kind of coalescing simultaneously in these worlds. And sometimes I think we see an inherently ugly side that comes with that, but we also see a lot of incredibly inspiring things that come with that, to the degree that we are now seeing what I would describe as new kind of social movements that we haven't really seen before spawn out of a result of cryptocurrency, which is unusual, but it somehow makes sense at the same time. So it's interesting. It's kind of cool because you can find a good core groups of people, and through all of this, that we're all on a path to improve and increase our financial freedom, which can really lower your stress, right? It can add significantly to your quality of life, while simultaneously building and fostering communities that for support and humor and everything else, So it's just interesting, because I don't think before the last 2 years we've really seen anything like this. So just think that's pretty interesting. A lot of comments in the chat, people quoting Kid Rock, Mr. Shiba. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. Mr. Shiba something said they just won $100 in some BSC promo that's going off. Congrats on that. Super thankful for shows like this. Luminal says being stuck indoors, working inside. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The dynamics change, and so these things, outlets like this end up playing a much more significant role in people's lives than they have in the past. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Absolutely. I feel like, I don't know. I feel, it's as I said, I feel like a lot of people kind of are learning the lesson that I learned. I remember being stuck in the hospital twice for like 3 months, and it took a lot. And yeah. I feel that when people got stuck, inside, see, I was kind of used to it, because I've, for the last few years, had so many days where I'm stuck in bed and, can't really do much. And, being bedridden sucks. And that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful for, Twitter Spaces and, even just doing this, because I can do this from bed, and I don't have to, because, and that's, some of the other things is, it's like, if I get a lupus, flare, I'll get these red rashes on my face, and I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to worry, about it, and I can just kind of relax, and that's really so much a part of what I'm supposed to be doing anyways, is relaxing. So I feel like for a lot of people, that's why it's so important to keep your stress levels down, not let people affect you, because I really just feel like we have a world that's already filled with so much negativity, and people have already been struggling mentally, and Doge, and even other currency communities, whatever it is that works for them, we have the ability to have an escape from some of the things that have been so hard and so painful, and a lot of people lost, people due to COVID. And so I think just the ability to be able to come somewhere where you feel better. Like, I can honestly say in a lot of ways, Doge only saved my life in the sense of just that sense of compassion and empathy and community and friendship. And just I be honest, like, that's why it's like I hadn't snorted laughed in like years. And then when Dan got me laughing one night, like, it was like, oh, like, I really found my real laugh again. Like, I had always kind of been ashamed of my snort, and kind of always was made to feel ashamed of my snort. So being able to like really laugh again made feel a lot better, and so I feel like those are the things that we need those good gut laughs. We have to learn to not take life too seriously, because life is short. Nothing is ever guaranteed. And so I think just having the ability to come somewhere we can just laugh, be lighthearted, and that's the vibe I always want to keep in the community is, we all need the ability to be able to, I love doing my mental health chats. I've been trying to do more of those lately because I feel like they're so needed and so important, because so many of us struggle with things that we're not talking about. And then, we sometimes act out, when we're going through something. And that's why that expression of hurt people. And so if we have these mental health chats and we can all admit, hey, we're all not really okay, then we don't feel so alone, and then we don't feel so out of place, and we just feel human. And that's, one of the things that just we need to keep going with in the community is just allowing people to just be human. I'm a really firm believer that people just need to know that, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's gonna, do different things, but we have to just focus on, the positivity, the community, the laughs, the fun. And keep it going, because not everything is guaranteed. And when you lose somebody, or you lose your own health, or whatever the case is, you just start seeing what's really important. So I tell people, don't let it get to that point to appreciate life. Appreciate it now, before you're sick or before you lose somebody. So
right on. Coco James says, Christopher James says, these are the times we're just hanging out. We'll wake up to Doge at $3 in no time. I love the optimism there. Brenda Rogue coming in. Noise is, I came familiar with the term noise from a Key and Peele skit from a few years ago.
That's what I remember too.
And I think that's where it was created, don't you think?
I feel like I've heard it somewhere else too. I just can't think of it. I bet you Brenda will comment if it's somewhere else too, because I feel like I've also heard it somewhere else too. Yeah,
I think that's where it got popularized. I feel it's probably one of those things that's one of those words, like a phrasing of that word that's been around for a really long time, but only became like a thing super associated with like a iconic comedic thing.
Did you ever watch SNL like growing up, like in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah.
Like, to me, those are the SNL days I miss so much. Like, I can honestly say that before the Elon SNL, I really didn't watch SNL that much. Like, maybe I would watch like a few skits here and there. But like, honestly, having, I don't know, I just feel like the Will Ferrell era, was it Chris Kattan?
Yeah, Chris Kattan.
Yep. Oh man, those were like I loved when he used to do Monkey Boy. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
But that one, oh my gosh, because he would really be eating an apple and just spitting it in people's faces, like all in the name of comedy. But it was so great.
Yeah, I feel like Chris Kattan, for whatever reason, he is one of those actors that never like super took off, like a Will Ferrell or an Eddie Murphy or someone else or Kristen Wiig or some of these huge names that have come out of SNL. He did actually have one movie where they gave him a starring role called Corky Romano. And it's actually not too shabby, not too bad. But he did have his probably most popular thing that I ever did was his co-starring role with Will Ferrell in Night at the Roxbury, of course. But I always thought
that's a classic. Night at the Roxbury will always be a classic.
Yeah, it's so good, and I feel like Chris Kattan was one of those guys that's a bit underrated, and I kind of liked how most of the time his characters that he played were like these kind of like spastic little Weasley kind of guys.
You're
like
so right about that.
Spastic little weasels.
Yes. And somebody said that they miss Farley. Like I'm not gonna lie, like that was one of the hardest. Like there's only a few celebrities that like I've really been crushed over like them passing, and Chris Farley was one of them, because like I loved Tommy Boy. Like that was by far one of my favorite people of just all time. Like he just honestly, his movies were hilarious, his skits were hilarious. One of my favorite skits is the Chippendale one he did with Patrick Swayze, because as I said, I loved Patrick Swayze. So when they did that skit, I thought it was so funny. And he had so many memorable characters. I loved when he used to do in a van down by the river. Like that was one of my favorites. There's just so many. I don't know. There were so many things, but him and David Spade were just gold on Saturday Night Live. Just complete comedy gold. Kind of the way that I wouldn't say as funny, but the kind of the way that Jimmy Fallon and Horatio Sanz were together. Kind of at the end of Will Ferrell's era, but Jimmy Fallon and Horatio Sanz, they had a really funny friendship. Horatio, like Jimmy could always get Horatio to like laugh and stuff, and they would always make each other laugh, and that was kind of how Chris Farley and David Spade were. I definitely think they were more of an iconic duo. But just that friendship and that bond, that I feel like you just don't see that on any of the new stuff now. You kind of see that with the guys who do the news thing, but I just still don't feel like you don't have that like genuine like comedy that you used to have like back in the early SNL days.
Yeah, not at all. I feel like I think part of it is too much attention gets put into people making sure that, I feel like, especially in comedy, it's something like SNL, too much attention gets put into making sure they're setting the right tone that's not going to be offensive to anyone under any circumstances. And if you're operating through that lens when it comes to comedy, I think you can really end up with some pretty marginal results. Whereas when you look at older episodes of SNL, the more you go back, the more free spirited and ridiculous they are, and those more free spirited and ridiculous things seem, the funnier they are. Where I feel like the newer ones, there's a sense of almost like too much control going on. It's like it's too cautious, it's too controlled, and it's just not very funny.
We live in this a little bit more, and not in all ways. Some of it's justified and some of it's not, in a more sensitive era. Like things that were funny to us back in 1982 aren't necessarily funny now, and truthfully, here's some things I feel like are a tad stretching and reaching a little bit, but then some things I'm like, you know what? Yeah, 100%. Like now that I look back, I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe we used to think that was funny or that was comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a half and half thing. Alan just said we need another Dave Chappelle. I don't think we'll ever see another Dave Chappelle, but I know what you mean in the sense of we just need another great like comic. Because I was just watching the Dave Chappelle show for like the millionth time the other day, and that was hands down one of the best shows that we used to be on TV, because it was so raw and so funny, and you were always so blown away at the things that were in the show. But that's what made it so great, is that it was just he was being himself. He was literally writing what he wanted to write, and he didn't really have a lot of restrictions. Comedy Central was way different back in the early 90s and stuff, and now it's just, I feel like it's pretty dry now.
Yeah, dry is the word for it. Bobby, I've seen this guy on Twitter. I'm going to try not to butcher your last name, sir. Bobby Zylkowski, and I'm sure you always have to.
It's Mike Zazowski.
Mike Zazowski. Is that how you pronounce his name, Zazowski?
No, I'm just kidding. It's from Monsters Inc.
Now you're confusing me. Why don't do that to me? Bobby Zylkowski. For the $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Bobby. Appreciate it. Happy to see you doing good at what a guest tonight. Yeah, she's okay. Keep smiling. Y'all are the best. Norm Macdonald was a savage. I agree. Norm Macdonald, when you look up, when he got J jokes, but oh my gosh, they funny. Like he got in trouble for a few of his jokes, but like, man, he gave zero. Yeah. I know. When you could watch a lot of video clips of Norm Macdonald on YouTube, where he's on late night talk shows, where he starts like roasting like the other guest, like whether if he's on like Conan or David Letterman or something like that. Like he'll be sitting, his segment will be over, and he'll be just sitting at the chair next to the next featured guest, and he'll just start roasting the next featured guest, sometimes so mercilessly. Oh man, I'm trying to think there's one specifically where there used to be this show in the 90s called Melrose Place. And and the lead starlet from the show called Melrose Place was the featured guest at the time. Obviously this is back in the 90s on David Letterman. And
was it Heather Locklear?
No, it wasn't her. It was another one. And he was sitting right next to her, and he was listening. And then every once in a while, he would just interrupt the interview. And he just has such a dry delivery that just like really adds like a hilarious tenseness to the atmosphere. And he doesn't break it, which makes it even funnier. And then so like one of the things he did, which was brilliant. And the thing was, she was kind of, I noticed he picks his targets carefully. Like if the guest is actually seems to be pretty cool, he lays way off of them more. But if the guest seems to be like somebody you already have a inherent feeling they probably deserve a little bit of ribbing, he'll lay in more. And this is what the case was with this gal that was on Melrose Place, where he stopped her. And he said, after she was talking about Melrose Place for a while, and he said, "Excuse me." And she said, "Yeah." He's like, "So, the show's called Melrose Place." He said, "Yeah." He's like, "And it's based on an actual neighborhood called Melrose Place." And she said, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, that's wild." That's all he said. And then the crowd just started laughing. And then she was talking about her next step, which was it was her last season on Melrose Place, and that she was moving into motion pictures, and her debut was a movie that she was doing co-starring with Carrot Top. And then so Norm Macdonald says to her, he's like, "Okay." He's like, "So let me get this straight. You're leaving Melrose Place to go do a movie with Carrot Top?" The whole crowd started laughing because when you put it in context like that, it was like, wow, man. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, that was what was always so impressive about him. Even when David Spade started his new late night show, and Norm Macdonald came on there and they were reminiscing. Like, he still is a savage. Like, he
is a savage, man. Still.
And that's what made comedy just so amazing. And I feel like, we have people now that and right, some things rightfully so, some things not, but certain things that they just don't want to say because they don't want to deal with the backlash. But
Right.
Sometimes those things really are what makes comedy so raw and funny, is because and I don't know. I just that's why I think when I look back at comedy, the stuff that I really liked is older. It's so hard to find nowadays. And even just stupid comedy movies. Like when I was watching, Beer Fest and Super Troopers.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'll be honest, one of my favorite scenes
I like Beer Fest.
In Super Troopers when they're trying to distract the cops, and the guy dresses up in this bear suit, but it looks like he is wetting the bear, and he's pretending to distract the cops, and the cops yell, bear effer, are you okay? It was one of the, if nobody here has seen Super Troopers, it's one of those funny stoner movies to watch. But and that one and Beer Fest, I love in Beer when they're walking down the hallway to go into Beer Fest, the mime is out, I love you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was always one of the funniest scenes in that movie. That used to happen.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
You know what was that? I did not notice this. I don't even know if you know who he is, but I noticed in one of those scenes that Isaac Cappy is in there, and I couldn't believe it. I was
wow.
how did I not realize that Isaac Cappy is in one of my all-time favorite movies? He's in the scene when they pull up to go see, I can't remember the guy's name, but the dark-haired guy, and they pull up, and he's one of he's supposed to be like a gigolo, and he's out there, and he comes up to the car, and he's like, oh, you guys want a good time? And it's Isaac. I was like, how did I not know that is Isaac Cappy? That's so crazy.
Yeah, wild. Yeah, he unfortunately hasn't been with us for a few years, but
I know.
Yeah, I guess I forgot he was in that.
I just didn't connect it until because I hadn't watched Beer Fest in a few years, and so when I rewatched, I was like, oh my god, that's him. You can't, once you've seen him, it's you don't forget him, but I just didn't somehow connect that, when I first saw it.
Guys, this is your man, Steven Steele. You've been listening to Steven Steele Live, where my special guest tonight has been Coco Chanel Adair, and I am working on getting PikaDoge back on the show within the week, so we'll be following. Just keep an eye out for a re-announcement on that. If you are new here, I would like to welcome you and invite you to subscribe and hit that notification bell and join the community here. I think we got a really exemplary community here that we've been able to build in just a couple months here. It's just going really well. So we'd love to have you on board and hit the subscribe. And also, if you'd be interested in memberships, those are now available as of last week. I am offering memberships and making a lot of exclusive membership content and that sort of thing. And so that is available as well. If you got any questions for Coco Chanel, Adair, or myself, feel free to pop in the chat. And obviously, super chats are hugely appreciated for my time and efforts. And yeah, it's one of these things, Coco, where, like you were touching on before, there's a balance, right? There's a balance between, and I've been noticing it with different people's perspectives on the internet, particularly where I'll see one end of the spectrum where people just go way out of their way to be insensitive dicks, but then and to be as offensive and to be just as dickish as possible. But on the other end of the spectrum, I see people that go really out of their way to be offended by any and everything. And I feel like those people are just as annoying, but just on the other end of the spectrum. I think most people really don't fall between any of those extreme ends of the spectrum with their sensibilities on comedy or self-expression. And so, unfortunately, I think the majority of people's sensibilities regarding humor and self-expression are kind of getting lost as far as their representation in the media, representation in outlets, or for things that, you know, we consider to be funny. What do you think?
Well, I think just in general, we're just out of balance as, you know, a whole generation. We've had a lot of crazy things happen in our lifetime. You know, I think just in general, we've had so many things happen, especially in the last like year or two, that it's been hard for us to, I think I mean, not for everybody, but I think for them to find that balance, because I think so many people are struggling mentally, health-wise, you know, financial, you know, just personal life, everything. And so I think because of that, those struggles, you know, people's emotions are real high and real on the surface, and rightfully so in some cases, you know. I've seen a lot of people that have just had some really horrific, you know, struggles this last few years. And so I think for a lot of people, it's just emotions are right on the surface. And so when you mix that, and then you mix, you know, just as I said, you know, mental health issues, you know, personal issues, all of that stuff, it just really brings out sometimes an ugly side of people. And you know, that's why it's so important to, you know, to try and stay focused on the things that keep you happy and the things that keep you sane. You know, I tell people all the time, you know, there's nothing if you need to block somebody or unfollow somebody. You know, there's times where I absolutely love some of the people I follow, but I don't like the things that they post. Either it's always negative or too political, or, you know, whatever. And I just, for my own mental peace, I choose to, you know, kind of control what I see, in the sense of, you know, I don't want to see a lot of negativity. I don't want to see a lot of sad or depressing things. You know, and same with the block button. You know, that's why it's like, I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to use the block button, because at the end of the day, you're gonna always be an enemy in somebody's book, or you're going to be the bad guy in someone's story. And you just have to understand that that's life. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to agree with you. And the sooner that you can accept that, the easier time that you have. And you're able to protect your mentality, your energy. And that's why it's like, you know, I'll be honest, I use the block button a lot more now, just because honestly, I don't like certain things, and I don't have to feel bad about it. Nobody ever has to feel bad about that. If you're doing something that protects your peace, you don't have to answer to anybody, because at the end of the day, the only person that you have then really is yourself, and you have to take care of your health and your mental and your well-being. And that's exactly what I have had to do. When I lost my health, I realized that it was the most valuable thing I ever had, and I just didn't know it. And so that's when I started saying, you know what, I know that stress triggers my lupus. I'm not going to let it get so bad that I'm in the hospital again. I'm not going to let it get so bad that I'm having a lupus flare just because of it. So I protect my peace at all costs, and nobody should ever feel bad about that, because, you know, once you lose your health, you lose your wealth, and you lose a lot of other things. So that's why I say health is number one right now for people. So, you know, if people can try to control that and their emotions, you know, it'd be easier to find a balance.
Yeah. I agree with you. And obviously I can totally relate. Ironically, I had a girlfriend from San Francisco that I was with for about 3 years ago. And she had lupus as well, and she would have the flares just like you're talking about, and then she'd get the red rashes and everything else, and you know, stress did play a big role in that. And so I'm just I'm just kind of recalling this stuff, listening to you talk about it.
It's not easy being with somebody with lupus, and so I'm sure you saw that. and there's different forms of lupus. I got started out with one form of lupus, and then a few years later got diagnosed with the other two forms. And it's really any form is hard, but especially the two more serious ones. It's because they attack your heart, your kidneys, your lungs. Neurologically, it really affects like everything. And so those ones get really hard to deal with. Having kidney issues, in and out of the hospital all the time, it gets hard, and that's why I think, because of everything I go through, that's why I really like the mentality of do only good every day. And just because it's just a healthy mindset, and a healthy mind, helps a healthy body.
Yeah, it's certainly a symbiotic relationship. Let's see. Well, Coco, we've been going for about 3.5 hours here. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up before we wind things down?
No. Well, Monday I'm having a Doge chat with Coco for new investors. So everybody is welcome to come. Stephen, you are more than welcome to come and speak.
Uh-huh.
And, thank you just so much for, always inviting me on. It's always a good time here, whether we're laughing and joking or we're talking serious Doge stuff, whatever the case is, it's always a good time. So thank you, Stephen.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's absolutely a pleasure having you. And Isaac Steele, thanks for the $5 super chat there. The offense is the responsibility of the offended. It's okay to sit back and laugh at ourselves. The platypus is proof. Comedy is in our nature. Say that 3 times fast. It was kind of a tongue twister there you gave me, Isaac Castile. And thank you so much. And Coco, next time you have a ladies chat, let me know. I will see if Stephanie's available.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna be planning one. I can't. It might be this upcoming week, but I might push it back one more week. So I will keep everybody updated.
Okay, I will. I'll make sure to let Stephanie know.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Stephen, and I thank you, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you to everybody who listened, and make sure you guys subscribe to his channel, shoot him a like, and shoot him a follow on Twitter. So thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate it.
Oh, certainly. And if you guys want to give Coco Chanel a follow, I'm putting her Twitter link in the chat right now. So if you don't follow Coco already, go ahead and give her a follow. Just threw that URL out a few times in the chat just now. Thanks again, Coco. This is a real pleasure, and thanks for joining me again. And I look forward to the next time you're back on.
I am ready for it, and I can't wait to see Pika back on here successfully.
It will happen. It will happen soon. Guys, this is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, winding things down here with Coco Chanel, Adair. You guys know where to find me on the Twitter. You guys know where to find me. And don't worry, we are going to be back tomorrow night with another fantastic show, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, keep the positivity strong. Keep that Doge momentum going. Until then, this is Steven Steele signing out.